Okay, so that's my new project, which is called Recipe. Learn. I have my backend, I have my frontend. Of course, I need to modify. The backend is, I don't need a lot of modification, but the frontend, I need a lot of modification. So the first step, it will be to CD into my backend. And here I need to install all the dependencies. So I can just say npm I, and it will install dependency for me. So I need to run my server. I can just say npm run and dev, and that should be okay. As you can see, I'm connected to database and everything's fine. I'm going to open a new terminal, and this new terminal, what I'm going to do, I'm going to CD into front end, and I am inside the front end now. I need to install the dependency npm I, and after that, now I need to run my server npm run dev, and I have my front end server as well. So I can just right click on this guy here, and it will open my application. Of course, currently it's not working 100%. Why? Because I am not receiving my data, as you can see here. Yeah, so the project here, it's just not correct. I'm not successfully getting the data. That's why it's giving me this error. Let's go to the backend first, and let's check everything. So yeah, as you can see, that's .bs code. That's fine. If I go to config, my config should be fine, and nothing I need to change, because what my config is doing here, I'm trying to connect to my database. That's it, using Mangoes. I'm going a little bit fast because you already know it. If you have a question, you can tell me. In the controller, we have books, as you can see, and we have user. Of course, now I need to modify this one. It's no more book. It's a recipe like that. Yeah, that's recipe. And we have recipe, we have user, which is okay. If I go to this now, I don't need this dist. I will delete it. Just when we finish with our React project, we run npm run build, and we will have a folder with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. As you remember, your browser does not understand anything except HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and that's the reason why when I finish with my React project, I need to build it. So I'm kind of bundling this one into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript again. For the middleware, I don't need to change anything. For the module, of course, I have book and user. I need to modify this one. And that shouldn't be book, that should be recipe, right? Okay, that's good. Public, I don't need public, actually. I can even delete it, but that's fine. For the route here, I need to remove book, and I need to do recipe, like that. Voila. For your util function, I can keep them the same here. Yeah, so let's see, we try to go to inside my route and try to update everything in my route, then in module, then in controller, just a name like that. I don't have any errors, then I'm going to import them inside my index. So let's start with the route here. The user route, I'm going to keep them exactly as they are, because they are register, login, log out, nothing to change. When it comes to the recipe, actually, we need a lot of changes. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the recipe here. I'm going to open this guy. And now all I have to do, I need to delete this function here, because simply this function are not correct for me now. So I need to delete this one. I need to delete this one. I need to delete all this work here. I'm going to delete all of that. You know what I'm doing, right? I'm just cleaning. Okay, now here, instead of getting all the book, I need to have, instead of this one, I just say recipes, like that. So recipes plural. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to replace my book. So if you type Command D or Control D, you can replace all of them like that, recipe. So now my new route, it will be recipes, recipe/ID to get one recipe. And here a post to add a new recipe. And here put and delete, so I can perform all the crowd operation. Of course, now here, I will not name it book controller. I will name it recipe, right? Recipe controller. And now here, when I'm trying to export it, it must be a recipe like that. And of course here, as that doesn't make sense, it is not book. It should be a recipe, as you know. Recipe, which I don't have currently. I need to create my module, of course. That should be fine. Yeah, so instead of getting all book, we will say get all what? Recipes. Instead of getting a book, here it will be get recipe. Guys, are you with me or you are sleeping?
With you.
Good. So now here it will be add create or add recipe. It doesn't matter. Update, instead of book, I will just add a recipe and delete recipe as well. Voila. And now, as you can see, I've created all my controller, which is nice. This is the module I don't have yet. So what I can do here, instead of say book controller, I'm gonna delete this one, of course, is no more book controller, it's recipe controller, recipe controller, and voila, it's coming from /controller recipe.js. And of course, after that, I can destructure it. So you can just say here, actually, I can delete all of it just like that. Now we can just say this guy here, voila. So now I have, actually, it's the wrong name. Recipe controller, so /recipe. So the name here, it will be get all recipes. I need to delete those. Get all recipes, and then here I have get recipe. Yes, then I have a create recipe. Then I have update recipe. Then I have delete recipe. Voila. And that should be good for now. So here, instead of doing get all books, it will be get all recipe. And here it will be just get recipe, as you can see. And in here it will be get, here it will be create recipe. And here it will be update. And here it will be delete. Voila. And that should be good. So I've successfully just updated my routes and everything. That should be good. And yeah, okay. I don't think I have any problem here currently. The problem, it will be here in this module because I did not create it yet, but that should be fine. What I can do now, I can simply go to my index.js, and instead of book recipe here, what I can see, I can just say import. And now here we'll name it recipe control, recipe routes like that. Recipe routes from /route recipe. And now here, all I have to do, I can use it. So all of those stays the same. Stays the same here. It will just be, voila, recipe. And that's all I need here. Of course, now I'm going to remove this one here because in the origin, I'm going to allow all the requests from HTTP localhost 5173. That's my front end. All the rest, it should be the same. No change needed here. Okay, util, I'm not going to change anything. This one I've changed it successfully, which is nice. Now what I need to do, I need to go to my module. For the user module, I keep it the same. For the recipe module, I need to update it because in reality, that's not recipe schema anymore. So I can name it recipe like that. And actually, it should be lowercase recipe. And here, recipe schema. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know what that means, but you're right. Daria, it is you? Right.
Yeah, it was me, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And here, all I have to do, I need to change just the name from book to recipe. That's it. I mean, it's not biggie. But of course, now some property maybe I changed. So what I did here, I'm just importing Mangoes recipe schema. It's equal to new mangoes.schema. Remember, the schema here is a class. So now here I need to pass my property. Yeah, so I have title, author, it's just for the book. Now I may change them. Then say recipe, it's equal to mangoes.module. And it will be the name of the module with uppercase. So I need to use uppercase and single. Then I'm gonna pass in my recipe schema, and then I can export my recipe. And here I am importing my recipe, as you can see. Import recipe from /module recipe.js, which is good. But I need to go here. Now, normally for the recipe, what do we have? Can anyone tell me?
Title, ingredients.
Yeah, title maybe. Author, we don't have author. We need an image, actually. I think I love the image. And here maybe we have ingredients like that. And ingredients
maybe
here.
Category as well.
Yeah, so title, ingredient, and maybe we have, what do we name it? Description, maybe? Yeah, description, yeah. So ingredient, and description should be here down. So you just name it description. Description. Of course, you can add as property as much as you want. It's fine. It's your module. Okay, now we have title. Title need to be string, required, yes. Ingredient, type also string, required, yes. Description, type also string, required, yes. Image is string and required, yes. So I've created my new module. It was super simple, not biggie. Everything should be fine here. And like that, I should be done with everything. Now, all I have to do, I just need to go to my controller. For the user controller, I'm not going to change anything. If you want, I can repeat it for you, but I'm not going to change anything because it's the same here. I'm just importing validate email, GWT, bcrypt, validate email, validate password, match password, hash password. I'm importing my user module. For the register, I'm grabbing the email password, password from the body, checking if user exists. If user exists here, that means I will not allow him to register again. I'm sending this stuff. Then I'm validating the email, the password, and make sure the password and repassword match. If that's the case, I'm hashing the password. Then I'm creating a new user, as you can see. I'm waiting until the user is being saved. I'm setting status 201, which means created. Also, I'm status 400 user error, and if in case I have an error, it will be 500 server error. I go very quickly because we repeated 100 times, right? Yes? No?
Yes.
Good. Voila. And for the login, same idea. We repeated a million times. So I want the email, the password. I'm checking if the user exists. Now, the user need to exist. If the user does not exist, that means the user is not registered. I should not allow him. And that's the reason I'm saying status 400. It's a client error, invalid credential. Please try again, or maybe you can try just to register. It depends on you. Anyway, now if I'm saying here, if the user does not exist, I'm returning here. But if the user exists, in my second step here, that means I have the email. I need to compare the password. So I use bcrypt compare password, and then I will take the user exist dot password. Here it will be the hash password, and here it will be the password the user passed. Then I have a callback function with error and is valid. If it's error, I'm sending status 400. If it's valid, that means this password and this hash passwords, they match. And if they match, then I'm going to create a token, as you can see. So token is equal to gwt.sign, and I need to pass an object. Normally, it will be the user data, and that's why I'm passing user exist. Process.env.token secret. I need to make sure that the name is token secret, so we don't make any mistake here. Token secret, it's fine. Also, I need to check my middleware to make sure that it is token secret here. It's cool. So sometimes if the name is not the same, of course, it will give you an error, and sometimes we don't know what the problem is going. So what I'm doing here, well, I'm creating a cookie token. So I'm making the token HTTP only true. That means no one will be accessed from the front end. After that, I'm making a cookie, which is email. Now I make my email as a cookie as well. Why? Because like that, I don't have to store it in the local storage. Now the problem with the local storage, whenever I save something, it stays there all the time. That's not what I want to. Because the token normally here, when we create token from the backend, by default, the duration here, it will be the session. That means as long as your browser is open, this token lives. But if you close your browser, then this token is gone. And if I save email in the local storage, it will be there all the time. That's not what I want to. I want, if the token is gone, I want the email also to gone. Like that, I will know that the user is being logged out, and we don't have any information related to the user. Is the idea clear why I make the email as a token here? Yes, no? Guys?
Yes.
Is the idea clear why I make my email also as a token or not? Just tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Good, thanks God. Okay. Of course, here, if it's not valid, that means the password and the repasswords, they do not match. So I'm going to say just message here, invalid credential, please try again. If I have a catch block, any error, it's a server error. Logout, it's simple. In the logout, what we're going to do here, we're going to clear the token. We're going to clear the email, because now I save the email also as a token. And status 200 JSON, and here's that my message was logout successfully. Remember something important here. Now here, when it comes to token, I make the HTTP only true. That means the front end will not be able to access the token. But when it comes to the email, I did not make HTTP only true. Why? Because I want to be able to access the email. Okay, I want to be able to access the email because I know in the front end, because I want to show it. That's the reason why I make the email here as a cookie, of course, and the cookie here, I did not define HTTP only is true. I think this one should be clear 100%, no problem with that whatsoever. Recipe here, we need to do our stuff here. So let me click on that. Let me click on that. And now when we come to the recipe, I want now to get all the recipe. And one of you smart guys would tell me, how can I get all recipes? Yeah. How can I get all recipes? Come on, guys. Well, I mean, it should be very, very simple now for you. How can I get all recipes?
Find all.
Yeah, but before find all, I need to now, just give me a second. Let me just, give me a second. I have to type something and then I will go back to you. Let me pause the, and voila. So I am now, all I have to do first, Agnieszka, I need to use try and catch before I'm doing anything. Why? Because here, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to send a request to connect to my database. So I'm just using try and catch, and my function here is the same function. So here I can just say const, and here I can just name it recipes. Of course, it will be plural. And here I can just say await.find, not find all, just find. So what's find is going to do me, if I did not pass array of filters here, it will try to find all these recipe. And now here, all I have to do here, I can just say res.status, and status here will be how much? 200. And then I'm passing JSON, which will be a recipe. Of course, if I have any error here, what I can do here, I can just say res.status, and status here, it will be 500, and then message here, I'm passing error.message. Remember, the error here, it's an object. Inside it, we will have something called message. Well, what I can do here also, actually, I can just do something else if I want to, not just this one here. I can check if, because recipe here, it will be an array, right? So recipe here, it will be an array, as you know. So I can just say if recipes dot length, because it will be an array. If the length is equal to 0, that means I do not have, so I can just do that here and say just else if I want to. So if the length is 0, simply that means I do not have any recipe, so I can return status 404 JSON message, no recipe found. Because there's no any recipe else, well, I just am sending back status 200 successful JSON recipe. And because this one is an array, I can pass to JSON array and objects. That's okay. But if I'm doing the message, I need to create, as you can see, create an object. As that should be simple. Let's go to the second one. And here, when we get recipes, that means it will be specific recipe. What do I need? I need const ID. It's equal to request.param. What's the problem is, you guys? Are you sleeping? Try and catch. Error. Of course, if I have error, it will be the same. So I'm going to send the same error here. And that should be fine. And now here, what should I do? Hello?
Find by ID.
Yeah, but we have find one actually. We can. So what we can do here, we can just say const recipe like that. It's equal to await. And here you have multiple possibility. We can use our recipe dot find one, or find by ID. It will work as well. But I'm going to use find one. And here in find one, now I need to pass an array of filter. And underscore ID is equal to ID. Remember here in MongoDB, we don't have an ID. That means the property here underscore ID, it must be equal to the ID I am passing, and like that, I will have the recipe. Of course, now, if I have this recipe, I will have an object here. If I don't have it, I will have, what do I have if I don't have it? What I will have if I don't have this recipe? What I will get? What recipe it will be if I don't have this object in my database?
No.
Of course, it will be null. Now here, if I just say if recipe, that means I have the recipe. I'm just sending status 200 and JSON here recipe. Else, if there is no recipe, I'm going to send status 404. That means the recipe does not exist. And I can send a message recipe not found, simply like that. So that should be simple. All I'm doing here, I'm trying to get one recipe, find one, or you can use find by ID if you want to. But I'm going to use here find one, and I need to pass here an object, and this object, that's what we call the filter object. I want to find this object or this recipe where underscore ID is equal to the ID the user is passing. And then here, if I have recipes, that means if I have the object, I'm sending status 200 and I'm passing the object as a JSON. Else, a status 404, that means it's a client error. And then the message here, it will be recipe not found, simply like that. So let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of these ones. Those are easy now. Okay. Now, when it comes to create, when we try to create a recipe, first I need some value. Can anyone remind me what are those value? What are those value?
Title, ingredients, description, and image.
Yes. So what I can do here, I can just click const, const, title, ingredients, description, and image. Make sure that this value is exactly like you are typing them, otherwise it will not work. So the name must be correct. Title, ingredients, description, and image, all of them, it will come from the body. And now what I can do here, I can just say try and catch block. And of course, when I'm using try and catch, I will have an error maybe. If I have an error, I can just reuse this one here because it will be the same for all of them. So I'm gonna reuse this guy like that. Voila. And now here, what I'm going to do here, I can now create a new recipe. So I can just say new recipe. And in new recipe here, I can just pass my data this way if I want to. New recipe, title, ingredient, description, and image. So I'm creating a new one. And then I need to wait until new recipe here has been saved. Then I can send status 201 and I say a new JSON, that's a new recipe. Simply like that. Again, what I'm doing here, well, I need to grab the title, ingredient, and description and image. Actually, maybe I can add some condition here. It will be much, much better. So what I can do here, I can just cut this one, cut it. And here I can just add if condition. I say if title is this, do I need title or not? Ingredient?
Yeah.
Does that mean I need to make sure that this value exists? Because if the value not exist, it will not work. So what I'm doing here, I'm checking if I have all these value, then what I can do, voila, I can now add my code here, as you can see. So I can create a new recipe, it's equal to new module, my module, which is recipe. And I need to pass an object with the title, ingredient, description, and image. Now I don't have to type here title like that. Why? If you want, you can do that. I mean, it's an object, but if the key and value is the same name, you don't have to do them. But if it's not clear for you, you can do that. It's fine. Voila. So I'm passing this object to this new recipe, and the recipe is module. It's actually a class because we are instantiating from. So if I go back here, we are creating it from the schema here. And because we're creating it from the schema, it will give me one instance. So I can use this instance to create any recipe. So I'm just saying here, new recipe is equal to new, the recipe, title, ingredient, description, image. That's only if I have all of them. Then I will wait for new recipe to be saved. Then I'm sending status 201, that means it's created. Else, that means if I have no one of those, so I can just send status 400, that means it's user error, and I will say all fields are required. Clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. Now, what do I need to do? I need to delete and update. So it's the same as the book, nothing biggie, by the way. So to delete and to update a recipe, first I will need an ID, as you know, because I need to update a specific recipe. Then I will need the new data. So I can just say const, title, ingredient, description, image, and I have the new data, all of them. Now, only when I have all the new data, so I can just use here try and catch. And in case I have an error, I can just send status for 500 here. So I can just copy it from here. I mean, the error, always it will be the same. Voila. Okay, I don't need this one anymore. So what I can do here? Well, first I can check again if I have title, ingredient, description, and image, because I need, even when I'm updating, I need to have all these value. But here, what if I want to update one value and I don't want to update the rest of the value? You get my point. So here you need to decide, what if I want to update only the title, not those? I should allow to do that. I mean, normally it should be up to me to decide what to update. I don't have to have all of them to update. So, okay, so what I can do here, well, it's quite simple. I can just say const recipe or updated recipe if you want to, actually. Let's name it here. Updated recipe. And here, updated recipe here, I can use multiple function. I can use find one and update, but I think we have a function which is called update, right? So we have update one. I can just simply use update one like that. And of course, in update one here, I need to pass an object, and this object here, it will tell me which ID here. So this ID, I need it. I need this ID to find me the object I'm trying to update. And then here I can pass a second object with all my value, or I can use set. Can anyone remind me how to use set? So I can use $100 set. And then here I will need an object. And here I need to set, as you can see, title, ingredient, description, and image if I want to. Voila. So I can use set, or I can simply just pass this one as an object. All of them will work. But what's important for me here, first I need to define which recipe I'm trying to update. And in order to do so, I'm using update one and I'm passing underscore ID. So I'm saying, give me, I'm trying to update this recipe. And here I'm setting the value title to this one, ingredient to this one, and description to this one, and image to this one. That should be okay. After I'm done this way, what I can do here now, I can just check here. Normally, when we update something, we will have number of modified stuff here. I don't remember what will be the value, so maybe I will just put my code now, and when I'm testing it, I will see what's the property, because if it's being updated here, if this object is being updated correctly, this one I will receive an object, and inside this object, I think it's called number of modified column or something like that. I don't remember it. So when I'm testing, I can see what's the name of what's the value it will return, and then here I will check if it's zero. That means zero. That means no recipe is being updated, and here I can just say since status 400 and check recipe not updated. Else I can just say status 200 and I say recipe is being updated, or maybe I can simply send back the update. Actually, no, I cannot, because the updated recipe it will return an object. That should be fine. Did you know what I did here? Yes, no. Is it clear what I did here? Yes, no. Okay. Again, I need to check this value. I'm not quite sure that this value is correct or not. But what I know when I'm trying to update any recipe or anything in MongoDB, it will return me an object. And one property of this object here, it will tell me the number of modified row or something like that. So here I'm checking if update data number of modified row is 0, that means nothing is being updated. So I'm gonna send status 400 and I say recipe not updated. But if that's not the case, if it's not 0, probably it will be 1 or 2 or something. That means something is being updated. And here I can say status 200. And the message here, the recipe is being updated successfully. For delete, it's quite simple as well. So I can just get first the ID, which is the most important thing for me. I will get, come on, const. And here I have underscore. I can just structure it directly. I can get the ID from request.param, and here I can just use try and catch block. And when I use try and catch block, of course, I will have, come on, I will have an error here. And what I can do, I can actually just copy paste the error here, because it will be the same error always. So let me copy this guy and here put the error. Voila. Okay, what if I don't have an error? So what I can do here, I can just say post deleted recipe equal to await. And here I can use my module recipe dot delete one. So we have something called delete one. And of course, here I need to pass the array of filter here. Okay, I'm gonna delete it, but which one? I'm gonna delete the recipe where it's underscore ID is equal to the ID I am passing. And here I will have an object again. So what I need to do here, I can check. Again, I'm not sure about the property. I need to check it. I need to test it. I will say deleted recipe here dot deleted count. That means if the deleted count is 0, that means I was not able to delete the recipe. So I'm saying recipe not deleted, status 400 client, or else status 200 recipe deleted successfully. Here we can add successfully. And all I have to do now, I just need to make this one correct. Voila. And that should be good. That's everything actually. But I just need to test update and delete. Why? Because I'm not quite sure about this one, and I'm not quite sure about this one here. Yeah, so my backend is running, right? My backend is running, right? So what I can do now, I can just make some tests if I want to. So let me just grab this one. Let's click on this one. Let's click on this one here. And yeah, I think that should be fine. Let me go to controller and let me go to recipe. And here create, I have no problem. Update, I do have small problem. What I can do here, I just want to log this value to make sure that I have it or not. And the same for delete, I need to log this value to make sure that I have this value correctly or not. Voila. So let's go to our postman. Where's my postman? Let's get rid of this one. Where's my postman? Voila. So what I can do now, I can simply click on that, and I have 5004 API / book. It's not book anymore. So I can just take, where's my postman? I can take it close to my code. So if I go back to the route now, here I have recipes. And yeah, so let me just remove this one and type recipe. And here, of course, if I try to get the recipe, I will have nothing. Something else here I need to modify before that, so I can go to my connection string. And of course, you may tell me, where is the connection string? How can I get my connection string? Well, what you need to go to your Atlas, because I'm planning to make this database here on the cloud, as I need to deploy my project. So where is my Atlas? I can go to my Atlas here. And of course, you have an account. So because you have an account, you can just go to here, which is browse collection, if you want to. I will have cluster 0, but anyway. And here, as you can see, I have books already, and I have recipes here. Actually, it's creating the recipe for me already. We have book, recipe, stuff like that. I'm going to delete this one for now. So let me delete the recipe. Delete that. And yes, that's my cluster simply. Yeah, that's for the book. I will not have for the recipe. The reason why I deleted it, because I had a module book, so it created a module book and then create a recipe for me. So now when I delete it, it will be recreated again. Okay, that's fine, but how can I connect to this cluster? Well, to connect to the cluster, as you can see, I have one cluster. Normally, you will have one cluster 0. You may tell me, what is a cluster? The cluster is some space on the cloud allow you to create database. Now, in this cluster here, I can have multiple database. Okay, fine, that's good. What if I want to connect? You click on this guy, and then it will tell you, okay, do you want to connect to Compass? So I can connect to Compass, actually, if I want to. I'm going to do, actually. And here it will ask me for the password, stuff like that. I think I'm already connected. So if you want to connect to Compass, that means you see the same data in the cloud on Compass. That will be your username, and then after that you will have password. You need to change this one with your password. So you should have your password when you create a user. So you need to replace everything here with the angle bracket. You replace it with your password, and after that you'll be able to connect here. Actually, let me show you. Let me copy this one. And let me go to my VS Code. I can put it here, it's fine. It's not copying everything. Okay, let me just copy everything. And let me go to my VS Code here. And let me just do this guy. Now, what do I need to do here? As you can see, I need to replace this password with my password. So I will click on that. I'm going to delete all of that. Then my password is san.1984. Oh, I don't know, 1985, I think, yeah. At cluster, and voila. So that's my connection here. So I can copy this connection if I want to. I'm going to delete it so no one can see it. And then now I can go to my MongoDB, and here I can delete this connection. Click. I'll remove this one. Now I will add a new connection. Of course, it will tell me the URI. As a URI, I don't want it to be locally. I will add this one here, the one I copied. And notice what will happen when I say save and connect. And voila, as you can see, it shows me my cluster. And that's my books, admin, and like that. Voila. That's nice. But now that's not what I want to actually. I don't want just to connect to Compass. I want to do something else. I want to be able to connect to Atlas MongoDB using my Node application. So how can I do that? You will click on that. You will go to drivers. So here, say access your Atlas using MongoDB native driver, Node.js, Go, stuff like that. That's what I want. You click on that, and here it will tell you need to install Mangoes. And Mangoes, as you know, it's an ORM for Mango. We use it all the time. So it will give me this guy here. So I just need to copy it. Voila. Again, I'm going to my VS Code now. I need to make some changes here. So I can click on that. And here, as you can see, I need to pass my password. You need to remove all the angle bracket like that. My password is sam.1985. So I'm going to keep this one. And voila, that should be fine. Now, after, as you can see, before the question mark here, I can add, as you can see, here's the same, .NET / here, I can add the name of my database. And here's the name of my database. I'm going to name it recipe. If you don't pass the name of your database, it will create a database for you by the name test. And that's not what I want. So here, as you can see, if you compare this one and this one, they're exactly the same. And that's the reason why I don't really want to repeat it. So I already have it. But I just want to show you how can you replace your password. Remember, the password, you need to replace the angle bracket as well. We don't need the angle bracket. And here, before the question mark, after .NET / and before the question mark, you can add the name of your database. You can name it whatever you want. And now what I'm going to do here, voila, I'm going to save those guys. Of course, token secret, you have everything. I'm going to close my stuff. Yeah, that's my front end. Why did I close my front end? Okay, let me go back to my backend. And the backend, as you can see, what I'm going to do here is give me some error stuff. I'm gonna close it and I'm gonna run it again. So what's going to do here, when I run it again, it will try to connect to database and it will try to connect my stuff here. So let me go back to MongoDB Atlas. I don't need this one anymore. So yeah, I can just close it. And let's go to MongoDB Atlas. Now here, what I need to do, I think I can refresh somehow. Yeah, refresh database. So I can refresh database. And as you can see, I have recipe. So to refresh, all you have to do, click on this one, and you have refresh database. If you refresh it, as you can see, now I have recipe. And here I have recipe, but I have no data. I have also user, but I have no data. So what we should do? Well, let's go back. And here we need to be able to now to get all recipe. Of course, I don't have any recipe currently. One recipe I also don't have. So it's a good thing here. It will be try to add a new recipe. So I'm going to say post. And of course, here I will need a JSON. I need some data. So what different data do I need? Well, I don't know. I need to check my module. So let's go back to my recipe. Where's my module? Voila, recipe here. I'll need title. And in here, of course, it's JSON, so everything should be surrounded by double quote. Voila. I need title. What do I need else? Ingredient. Again, make sure that the property you are copying, they are correct. Otherwise, you will have a problem. Voila. I need also a description, and all of those guys are string. And here's the last one. I need image. Image should be correct like that. In the image, I am just passing this one, and I need, of course, semicolon. Now I can beautify it a little bit. Here, voila, that I didn't add any value, of course. I don't need that. But now what I can do, I can now go online and try to find some recipe. Some good food recipe. Voila, so easy recipe. I don't know what is that. Accept all. I'm gonna just copy the image address. Copy image address. And in here, I'm gonna just put my image address here. Voila, that should be good. And the name, what is the name? I do not know, maybe later. Yeah, but what is it? Easy chicken curry, for example. I'm gonna take this one. Easy chicken curry. And I'm gonna just put my title here. Yeah, thank you. That's so great. I did not copy it well, it looked like. Yeah. Okay, what are the ingredients? Well, I don't know what are the ingredient to be honest, but well, our ingredient here, but ingredient is I will say I'll just copy this one. I'm not gonna copy everything, of course. For you, you can make it nice and beautiful. So I can just say sunflower oil, garlic, here grated, and yeah, you can add whatever you want to ingredients here. I need Greek yogurt. And that should be for me now, should be enough. Fine, description. Well, description, you have step 1 here, so you can add all of that. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to paste it here. Voila. Let's beautify it again. So now here, if everything is working perfectly, I should be able to add recipe correctly. So let's try to test it. Click it. And as you can see, I'm returning back my object. That means it's being created successfully. And now I can go just to this guy here. And all I have to do, so as you can see, I have it and I can refresh it. Voila. Here, and can refresh it. Remember this tool here, Compass, I can use it locally. I can connect to my MongoDB community server when we install it locally. And also I can use it to connect to the Atlas, to the cloud. So it doesn't matter, it's just a tool. I can, here I'm connected to the cloud. I don't want to go to the cloud. And the cloud here, if I go to it, it has color white. I don't think we can change the color here. It's annoying. I don't think I will ever need to go to the cloud, but sometime it could be interesting if I go to recipe like that. Yeah, it look like my headset are finished. Okay, you still can hear me, guys? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
So what we can do, we can go again to our cluster, Atlas or whatever. And here, let's just go to project 1 and cluster here. And view monitoring. Sometime this is quite interesting, as you can see. So I can monitor my database, how it's been, for example, and I can check it. As you can see, I have more. As you can see, I have more update here. So I have more update. I have more query data here at this point. So like that, I have an idea how my cluster here or my database is being changed. So if I take from 8:30 to 9:10 and for specific date, as you can see, I don't have a lot of activity here, but if I take it from this specific day, as you can see, and I try to do it here, I have a lot of activity. And of course, you have date and stuff like that, so you can see it here. Also, it will show you some future you cannot have them because you need to upgrade. But you don't need them anyway. Also here show you some information here, as you can see. So for the last 6 hours, it will tell you is a different activity here. So we have write, for example, and yeah, well, just give us few information. That's it, no more, no less. What's important is metric here. Sometimes just to monitor our database to see if a lot of user is trying to connect to our database or not. So we can check this graph here. And if this graph is like that, as you can see, it will show you. So when you hover over it, it will give you some information. Okay, we have this certain command, we have this certain update, we have this certain insert, and so on. You don't need for now to know what it is, but it's nice just to have a look at the chart. Other than that, I don't really need the cluster at all. I have my compass. Okay, now recipe. I have one recipe currently. What I'm going to do now, I'm going simply to I'm going to my okay, I'm going to copy this one. And what I can do here, I can just go to ChatGPT and I can just say, can you create 10 recipes? Recipes use this template object. So what I'm going to do here, I don't really want to go to the internet all the time. So I'm just asking ChatGPT to create different recipe for me. And hopefully it will work. And let's see.
But I'm not quite sure about the image here because most of the time when we check the image, it's not correct actually. Well, anyway. I'm gonna take the first one here, so I'm gonna just copy this one. Voila. I'm going to in here. And now here I can just click here. What I can do, I can check this image to make sure it is working or not. So if it's not working like that, I can find another image. And as you can see here, the image is not working. So what I can do, I can take this one here, creamy, I don't know what. And in here, I can just type this one. And here I can just say image. So it will show me some image. I can now copy the image I want to. Copy image address. And now all I have to do, I need to replace this image like that. And let's try to post again. So let's see. Voila. And as you can see, it's being created, which is nice. So let's add a little bit, few more maybe. So I can add this one here, which is vegan chickpea curry. So let's go in here. Let's paste it here. And again, for the image, I don't think it's correct. So let me copy the title. Actually, it will be much easier. And here, all I have to do, I just have to add the image. That should be good. Copy image address. And all I have to do now, I just need to do that. Let's send it again, and voila. I should have now 3 or 4 recipe, at least. Click, and as you can see, I have 3. Then after that, I'm gonna add more if I want to. For user, I don't have a lot of user. I would just want to add a user, but again, what I can do, actually, I can go to my books, and I can go to my users here, and as you know, I already have the hash password, so I can copy this one. I'm just gonna add 1 user, that's it. Because currently I don't have a front end or anything, and I don't want, voila. So let me add this user here. So add data, insert this one, and now I can make it either this way or this way. I can delete this one and just paste this one, and can remove the ID. Remember, even if I remove the ID, MongoDB, it will insert it for me automatically here. So now, as you can see in the recipe, I have 1 user currently, and I have 3 recipes. Let me add 1 more recipe like that. At least I have a 4. And the last one here to be classic beef stew. So let me copy this one. Yep. Voila. And all I have to do, I need to just find a nice image, because most probably the image is not correct. And that should be good. Actually, that's bad. Let's go to the image and let's just copy this one. This is very big image. I don't want it. No. Copy image address. Oh, that's much better. And now here, let's just beautify it a little bit and send, and voila. And now here, if I go to get, I should be able to get all of them. I don't need this one. And actually, maybe I need it for later. So if I try to get now, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I want to get by specific ID, I can just copy the ID here. And I just say slash, voila, this one. And remember, this one is an array because I'm trying to get all of them. Now, when I'm trying to get specific recipe, I should get an object. Click here, and as you can see, I'm getting object. So get all and get one, it's working. Of course, add is working, create or post is working as well. We've been testing it. Now, what I want to do here, actually, this guy here, which is called easy checking query, I want to update it. So I'm not sure if the update is working correctly or not. So I can just put here. And remember here, I'm logging some data. So whenever that's happened, I'm logging some data because I am not quite sure that this value, I don't know what is inside it. I don't think this value is correct. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do something simple, actually. I can just add 2. And in here, I just can add 2, and in here I can just add 2, and for the image I'm not going to change anything, and the ID should be like that. So if I send it here, say recipe is being updated, which is good. That means successful is updated, and now I can check my object here. So where is it when update recipe? So here what I'm saying, modify count, it's 1. So what I can do, actually it's not very correct. Modify count here is not correct. So the value I'm searching for, it should be this one. So now here modify, it should be modify count. So modify count, because here it's update, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm say API/recipe, and the method is put. That's me trying to update. And whenever you're trying to update here, this update recipe, actually it's an object, as you can see, with a lot of property. And one of the property I'm interested here is called modified count. And here I say updated recipe dot modify count. If it's equal to 0, that means I was not able to update successfully. But if it's more than, it's not 0, that means I was able to update recipe updated successfully. Is it clear what I'm trying to do, guys? Yeah? No?
Yes, but do we need to do that? Because before we...
No, you don't have to do that. But to be honest, I mean, doing this one, it will be much better for your backend. Because like that, we are handling two situations. And here, I mean, when I try to use this code here, it will always send back to the user a message or response that is being successful here, because we don't have any error. Now, using this check here, I think it will be much, much better. Why? Because simply, and what MongoDB is doing here, when I'm trying to update something, it will return me an object. And like that, from this object, I can know if my recipe is being updated or not. And how can I do that? Well, that's my object. And modify count here, it will tell me how many recipe is being modified. And here, if this guy here is 1, so if this count here is 1, that means the recipe has been updated successfully. If it's 0, that means it's not being updated successfully. You got my point, Agnieszka?
Okay.
You don't have to do it, but actually for your backend, it will be very nice. Okay, now let's go to the delete one. And the delete one, remember, also, I am not sure about delete count. Here, modify count, it should be correct. So let's try to delete this guy here, which will be clicky. I will go to delete. And if everything is okay, it should send recipe deleted successfully, or it will tell me recipe not deleted. But I'm not quite sure, again, this value exists, and that's the reason why I am logging the object. So let's try to click on this one. And as you can see, recipe deleted successfully, which is good. I need to go check my object. So my object says here delete count. Delete count is 1, that's mean, and this one is correct. Delete count is 1, that's mean the number of the recipes being deleted is 1, so they are not 0. If they are 0, I'm sending a message to the user, tells them recipe not deleted. But if it's not 0, that means probably it will be 1 or 2 or so. The most important thing is not 0, so I will just say, okay, recipe deleted successfully. And of course, now if I go to my database, remember what was the recipe here? Classic beef. I'm not sure what was the name. No, it's not classic beef. It was something else. So I had before 4 of them. As you can see, now I have 3. So I had to delete one of them, which was, I think it was chicken something. It was the first one I added. So now I'm quite sure 100% that my backend is working perfectly. I don't need you currently. I do not need you. I currently don't need you. And currently I don't need you as well. Voila. I'm quite sure I've tested my backend. Everything is fine. I don't need this Postman anymore. I'm not going to need it. Now, what I need to do now, I need really to work on my front end, because now my backend should be good.
And do we need to, in the backend, verify token and so on, so the user cannot update or delete when he's not logged in and so on?
We can use 2 possibilities here. In your routes, so if I go to the routes here in recipe, you can import what we call verify token. And you can here put it as a middleware. And if you are not verified, if you don't have a token, you will not be able to create or update or delete. You get my point?
Yeah, but we need to do it in frontend and in backend.
Yes, you need to do both of them all the time. Whatever you want, you need to do in both. Why? You may tell me why I'm doing it in the backend if I can do it in the front end. Well, because not always I need a front end to communicate with my backend. As you see now, I use just Postman. So what I can do here, I can just come here and I can just say import what it was verify token, verify, so it's called verify token. And it's coming from middleware.js verify token. Now, all I have to do here, I need to use this middleware. So I will allow the user to, any user to get all recipe, get recipe. But when it comes to update or, when it comes to update or delete or add, I'll not allow any user to do so unless he has a token. And well, as you can see, like that, I'm protecting my route. Good?
Yeah, okay.
It's the same we did before. I mean, no, nothing new. Okay, now my job is finished in the backend. Let's go to the front end. Let's click this one, let's get rid of all of that. And now here, as you can see, I have my package.json, I have Axios, React DOM, React Router DOM. I install all of them, which should be good. What I need to do here, I need to go here. And the name of my project is not bookstore, it's recipes, right? So I need to add recipes like that. Voila, should be good. I don't have to change anything here except the name of the project. Public here, I don't really need anything. I have component, as you can see. I may reuse some of those component actually, like login and stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep them. But what I can do here, I can go to the main, and as you know, because I'm using React Router DOM, I just say import browser router. So I need to wrap all my application with this browser router. And here, browser router, you treat it just like a component. And strict mode, it just allow me to write better code. Remember, in development, all the time when I do anything, the strict mode, it will double check. For example, if I send a request to get something, it will ask twice, 2 times, and that's only during the development. But when we do it in production, as you see, it's not the case. It will just do it only 1 time. The app should be fine here. Everything is fine. So do I need header? Yes, I can reuse my header. Navigation bar, I can reuse it. Books, I don't have books. Now I need to modify these books to make it recipe. Register, I don't have to modify it. Login, logout is as good. Instead of add book, I need to modify it to be add recipe. And here, edit book, I can just make it edit recipe. So I can actually modify a little bit the code. I don't have to change everything. So yeah, let's try to go first to the header, the simplest one here. So if I go to the header like that, I'm saying bookstore. No, it's not bookstore anymore. I can just say a recipe, just like that. Recipes or food recipe, whatever you want to. So the idea here, I already have all the code. Now I need to try to maybe reuse some of them. Register, it's the same. I'm not going to change it. Login is the same. Logout is the same. What I need to change now, it will be the books here. Add book and edit book. I will need to change those. So let me go to book component. Click. Where's the book component? That's the book component, as you can see. And in the book component here, all I have to do, of course, now I need to create book one single and book plural, but I need to modify it a bit here. And in order to do so, what should I do? Any idea? Do I have book here? Or do I, the CSS actually, let me rename it first. So I'm gonna rename this one to, instead of book, to recipe. And recipe should be single. And here it should be R capital.
Maybe let's do it from scratch.
You want to do it from
Well, yeah, like let's leave the login logout because it's the same, but all the recipes maybe from scratch it will be easier for us.
Yeah, I'm agree.
Break before.
Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Books, delete that. Edit book, let's delete that. This one, let's delete that. Header, I'm gonna keep it. Login, I'm gonna keep it. Logout, I'm gonna keep it. Navbar, I'm gonna keep it. Recipes, I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna delete that. And yeah, now I have register. Well, I thought I have register CSS if I'm not mistaken. Did I deleted it?
Yeah, you just delete it. Maybe Control Z. It will.
Yeah, let me
return
check.
it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, register CSS. I can just say put back, and not sure if that will work or not. So let's go back. Yeah, I have my register CSS, which is great. Now it will be good. Yeah, okay. So now what do I need to do here? How many components do I need? Well, I don't need that, don't need that. So I need one, I'll need two, and I need three different components. Three, so one of them for, actually more, I need four components. I'll need recipes, I need recipe, single recipe, I need add recipe, and I will need edit recipe. So let's first go to, let me just comment those here, both of those. I don't need those. And in here also, I want to, yeah, let's just keep the book here because yeah, let me just get rid of those for now. Okay, let's go now and create, instead of creating our book, let's create our recipe. New folder. So it will be recipes, like, oh, come on. Recipes.jsx, which is okay. And also I will need recipes.css. That should be good. I will need a single recipe as well, so I can just add single recipe like that, .gsx. And I will also need CSS for that, so .css. Okay, that should be fine here. I have all of those components. I still missing few components. What are those? So I will need to be able to add recipe. So let's try to add recipe as well. Add recipe like that. And it's .gsx. So let's just copy this one. And I can just create the CSS like that as well. .css. I'm just creating some folders, that's it, or some files here. I mean, I need to work on all of them. And then I need edit a recipe, and I should be fine. Add edit recipe like that. .gsx. Recipe should be correct, yes. Let's save this one. Let's save this one .css. And I have all my component, as you can see. So what I'm going to do here, I'm gonna remove those here, so I can just say import recipes, which I have nothing. That's why there's the reason why it's giving me this one. Where is recipes? Well, let me create RAFCP. So I have recipes like that, and in recipes, I don't need anything. I don't need this two. I absolutely don't need this two. I will not need the props. And that's it. Voila. Let's import it in app.jsx. You understand what I'm doing, right?
Yes, but maybe we can take a short break.
Yeah, just give me a second. Let me just import these guys, and I will give you a short break. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, let's undo those. Okay, so I have books. Instead of books, I need recipes. Okay, that should be fine. And now here I need to import add recipe and edit recipe. So I can just import add recipe. From component.add recipe, and here add recipe, it will take just this one. And here's the last one. I need release edit recipe and not edit recipe. Okay.
Do we need delete recipe?
Delete recipe. No, because we need delete recipe actually. Yes. but it's just a button. So we don't need, we don't need delete recipe because it will be just a button and we can do it actually inside the recipe itself. So inside the recipe, we will have a button. When you click on these buttons, then we send a request to the backend and remove it. So we don't need delete really. Okay.
Okay.
So all my components are ready now. That should be great. Now, when you come back, we will start working on recipes, recipe, and add recipe and edit recipe, and should be fine. It's 10 and 30. Let's take a break, 20 minutes, and then we'll come to complete it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to add recipe and I'm going to add a dummy component, HYF-BE. I don't need React. And I have my I don't need props, I think. It's not necessary for me, the props for now. If I need them, I can, after that, do some edit. Same idea, let's create a dummy component. And in here as well, I don't think I need React. And yeah, probably I will not need any props as well. What else do we have? What else? We create a new one. So we have recipe, we have our recipe dummy component. And now if we go to here, we should have something. As you can see, at least we have some stuff here. So we have still books because I need to update my recipe navigation bar. We have register is working, we have login is working, which is nice. So let's go to our navigation bar first, before anything. So where is my nav bar? My nav bar, it's here. So what we're doing is a nav bar. Well, in the nav bar, we are importing navlink. Can anyone tell me what the difference between link and navlink? Why I am using navlink and not link? What's the difference between the two? Come on, guys. That's a simple question.
So can I ask you something? Something different.
Yes.
Why do we need so many buttons? Maybe it's easiest way to use only one reusable button and use props for all those stuff like delete or add some receive.
Well,
Or
yes. It's not so much button. I have only two buttons. I just have add. Add, that's not a button. That's just another page. Edit and delete. So I only have two buttons. I can create a one.
It's not a button.
Yeah, I can create a component for the bottom and reuse it. Yes, it is possible. But now add and edit, I just create them as a separate component because my project is not very complex. It's a simple project. But if the project is very complex, then it could be a good idea actually to create a separate component bottom and like that, reuse it for both delete and edit. Yeah?
Yeah, I just wondered what is the best practice.
Yeah. So the best practice depend on your project actually. If your project is very complex, and what we are doing here is a simple project. But if the project is quite complex, it's the best project or the best practice is always to create a component and reuse it. Okay, but now what's the difference between navlink and link? Can anyone tell me what's the difference between the two? Yes.
The link will be active, the selected one.
Navlink by default, navlink, it comes with class active. That means if I go in here and I click on the register and now try to inspect this one, so by default, we have a class active. And that's the reason why I am using a navlink and I'm not using link. So navlink, whenever we select something and we click on something, it will, if we are inside the navigation bar, it will add class active. And because I have a class active, all I have to do here, as you can see, I can just add some background. And like that, I will know, for example, by default, which I am passing. So if I refresh this one by default, this one has a class. If we are using links, that's not the case, okay? Okay, let's go now to our navigation bar again. Okay, we are importing navlink from React Router DOM. We are importing use effect. And now what I need to do here, I need to create a piece of component which is logged in or set is logged in. And the default value here, it will be Boolean. The default value, it will be false. Why I need this piece of state? Well, simply if this one is true, that means the user is logged in. If the user is logged in, I need to show him add and log out. But if the user is not logged in, I need to show him register and log in. And here in all the scenario, he will see the recipe, which I need to update now. And that's the reason why I need this variable. So this variable here, what I need, I need to check if the user is logged in or not. But how could I know if the user is logged in or not? Yes. How could I know if the user is logged in or not?
From the local storage.
No, I
cookies.
don't have local storage anymore. Remember, I deleted it. I don't need any local storage here. See, the problem is the local storage, they always save the value. I don't want that. So what I need to do here, actually, let me log in and show you. I will have 2 cookies. So let me log in, and I already have user Sam, as you know. User 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. If I click on this one, S2R, what the hell is going on? User. Strangely. Let's go to network. Click on that. User, actually, it's correct. I should have user actually. Because here, if I click on user, as you can see, I have the user. Refresh. Should be good actually.
Because when you create the user, you copy paste from the
Yes.
MongoDB Express, and maybe it copied the hashed password and not the real one.
I know, but again, 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. Yeah, it does not allow me to do that. So what I can do actually, even though it's like that, let me delete this user and let me try to create delete. Let me create a new user. So I'm gonna register, and here I will use Sam, and I will add the user 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark, and repassword which should be user 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. Register. No, is even so the reason why it's doing that, it's not because of the user, it's been known. Because actually, if I go to, where is it? Let's go to login first. And when I go to login, I just have /API/login, right? Is that correct? So, or it will be HTTP localhost. And how much is the localhost? 5004. So I need to add the correct HTTP here. And let me copy it. So now here I am inside login, which I update this one, which is good. Let's try also register. Where is register? And in register, I need to add this one as well. And what else? And in logout, I need to add this one as well. So let's go here and voila. And now here, if I try to do the login, so let's try again. Let's just try, I'll delete the user, sorry for that. And now here, let's try user 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. User 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark, and I hit enter. And as you can see, the user is being created successfully. And if I go to my MongoDB here and I refresh this guy, click, as you can see, I have a new user here, which is great. Now I just need to log in. So let's put this one and let's put my password. Voila. And now here I'm logged in, which is great. Now, because I'm logged in here, of course, now I'm going to change ad book and stuff like that. How could I know if the user is logged in? Well, if I go to the application, if I go to the local storage, I have nothing, which that's what I want to actually. Storing something in the local storage, it will keep it permanently there until I delete it. And that's something not really good. But I can store it in session storage, which will be a good idea because the session, when I close the browser, it will just be finished. Or I can just make it as a cookie. Now, when I make a cookie from the server, as you know, I have 2 cookies here, actually. The first cookie, I have email, and that's what I said. And the second one is token. Now, if I go to the expiry, what is the expiry here? What is the expiry here?
The session.
Session. That means if I close my browser, it will terminate the email and the token, and it will remove both of them. And that's something really good. Because if I do it in the local storage, even if I close the browser, my token will be gone, and I will have my email in the local storage. So here, because I have my email in the local storage, I will treat it as a user still logged in. But if I go to the cookie, I don't have token, so it will not work. Do you understand why I make this one also as a cookie? Yes? No? So like that, they will have the same lifetime. So if the token is expired, the email also will be removed. And both of them, because I'm creating them from the backend and I'm not defining any max age, the age, it will be session. So simply, to make it very simple, now I will stay logged in until I close my browser. When I close my browser and I come back, I will not have both of them, neither email, neither token. And watch something good. Now for the token, as you can see, HTTP is only true. That means I'm not able to access it, but I need to be able to access my email. But how can I access my email? Well, all I have to do, document, dot, and I should have something called cookie. Voila. And actually, as you can see, document.cookie, it will give me my email. But the problem is how it's giving me. So it gives me string, and I have equal here. I don't want this value email. So it's giving me the key and the value. I don't want the key. I just want the value here. So how can I do that? Well, it's quite simple. I will just dot split because it's a string. And now here I will have an array. But what I'm going to split? Well, I can split by equal. If I split by equal, as you can see, I have email alone, I have Sam alone. Which one do I want? Well, I just want bracket 1. Why? Because I want the email here. But the problem, again, I have something here, as you can see. Some character is being encoded, so at sign is being replaced by %40. Somehow it's being encoded. So how can I replace %40 with at? Any idea? I want to replace %40 with at. How can I do that? Dot replace, it's a string. And here I want to replace %40. It's %40, right? Yes, I want to replace %40 with the at symbol, and that's it. And voila, and as you can see, I am getting my email, sam@gmail.com. Is the idea clear, guys? So again, because I set my cookie here, which is email, HTTP, I did not check it. I did not make it true. That means I can access it from the front end, and it's okay because it's just an email. It's fine. I mean, even if when the user logged in, he will know his email anyway, so it's not a big problem. The problem here, when I try to get the cookie, I have key and value, and I have equal, and both of them are string. Well, I don't want the key. I want the value. So I need to say just do split by equal, and I want the second here, which would be this guy here. Again, when I get this guy here, it's %40. I don't like %40. It's been encoded. I want to replace it with at. So and now I am replacing it with at. And voila. Should be clear, huh? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. So what I can do here, how could now, if I go back to my navigation bar, how could I know, and notice here I have is logged in and set is logged in, and by default the user is not logged in. So let me ignore all of that. By default the user is not logged in here. I create this piece of state. I want when this page is refreshed, so when this component is being mounted, is being added to the DOM, I'm using use effect. Why I'm using use effect? That means when this component added to the DOM, and that will be the default, whenever I just go to my website, I should see the navigation bar. So I have a use effect, and in this use effect, I'm trying to check if there is email or not. So I say const email, it's equal to document.cookie. Of course, if I say document.cookie, either I will not do all of that because I don't want. I'm just trying to check if I have a cookie or not. Now, if I have a cookie, as you can see, it will be a string cookie. This string is truthy or falsy? Is it truthy or falsy?
Truth.
Of course, truthy. I mean, the string, only empty string is falsy, the rest is truthy. So this one is truthy. So what I'm saying here, if email is equal to document.cookie, if I have an email, I want you to set is logged in to true. So the user is logged in. Else, I want you to set logged in to false. And like that, I will know if the user is logged in or not. Simply, if I have the cookie, well, the user simply is being logged in. If I don't have it, that means the user is not being logged in, which is quite simple. Okay, now here we are just adding our navigation bar here, and we have nav link to, of course, it will not be books here, it will be recipes. So I need to update this one to recipes like that, which will be the root route. Now here, notice I'm saying if it's not logged in, if the user is not logged in, I will just render this one. But if the user is logged in, I'm going to render this part. So it's conditional rendering here. Well, if the user is not logged in, I want to show him register and log in, which does make sense. But if the user is logged in, I want to show him log out and add recipe. Voila. which does make sense, as you can see. And now let's go here. Remember, I am logged in. If I refresh, and now I have recipe, and I can have add recipe. Why add recipe is not working? I'm not sure. So now I removed add recipe. I need to create it again. It's fine. And of course, I have logout. Notice also, if now I click on this logout, what will happen? So when I'm trying to log out from the application, these 2 cookies will be gone because in the logout I'm clearing because the cookie, both of them. And of course, this navigation bar, it will change. Add recipe, I don't have add recipe if the user is not logged in. And if the user is not logged in, I cannot show him logout. So if I click logout, my page is being refreshed. I still have my recipe. I have registered now and I have login. And if I go back to my cookie, see, I have no cookie anymore. I have no email anymore. Let's try to log in again. User 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. Voila. Hit enter, and now I have again my email and my token, which is good. Well, I don't want add recipe is okay. Everything is fine. Now, what do I need to do now? I fix this navigation bar. Everything is fine. Oh, wait, no problem in it at all. Click, 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 and let's click, 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 click. Let's start with recipes. Where's my recipes, which is this one? So what should I do in my recipes? What do you think I should do in my recipes? So first I need to import few stuff, right? What do I need to import?
Axios?
State and use effect.
Well, I need to import, yes, both of them actually. Use state, because I am planning here to use state, and also I need to use effect. Why use effect? Because use effect is a hook. We use it when we try, for example, when something happened to my component. With mount is that mean add to the DOM. And that's the reason why we are using use effect. Okay, so I have use state, use effect. I also need to import Axios because I'm planning to send HTTP request to the backend. I import Axios like that, voila, from Axios, which is great. I also need to import my CSS here, so I can just say import. I don't have CSS, of course, but /recipes.css, which is great. Okay, that's fine. And now here, I probably need a piece of state. So what do you think this piece of state will be? Do I need any piece of state or not? So I can just say const recipes. Remember, recipes, it will be an array, set recipes. So I have recipes and set recipes. By default, it will be an empty array. That's first. Second, if you remember in my application, I need to show the email here as well. And here I can add piece of state for the email. So I will just say const email like that, set email. And here, by default, here the email will be empty string. If it's empty string, that means I don't have an email, simply like that. Okay, that should be fine for now. So what do I want to do here? Well, I now can use my use effect, right? So let's go to my use effect here. And as you know, use effect, it's a function. It takes 2 parameters. The first parameter, it will be a function. And the second parameter, it will be array of dependency. Remember here in use effect, I cannot make this function a sync function. It's not possible. And if I want to send anything here, so I can just say const get books, for example. And now here I can just make a sync function, as you can see. Voila. And that's my function simply. Of course, my function is not going to work. I need to do what? I need to
Call it, but get recipes.
Yeah, it's not. Why get book? Get recipes. Sorry for that. Okay. Voila, so I have now get recipes here. And of course, because I'm using Axios, it will be nice and it will be easy for me. Try and catch. I need to use try and catch. And in case I have any error, what I can do here, well, I can just console.log the error for now. So just log. So I can just say error, which is console.log error. And here I can just say, for example, error fetching recipes. And I can log the error here, simply like that. And now here, of course, if I don't have the error, I can just say const response it's equal to await, because I need to wait for Axios. Then I say Axios.get HTTP localhost 5004, and it was recipe, if I am not mistaken. Okay, that's fine. Now
Or
here I need to
API
check.
recipes.
You are right, actually. API/recipes. And now here you can just see if REST.status, and here when we try to get status, it will be 200, as you know. 200 like that. And if it's 200, then I need to update my recipe. So I can just say set recipes, and now here it will be rest.data, which is great. That's one solution here. Of course, now I can have an error here if I want to. In case I don't have any recipe, it could show an error, which would be a good idea, actually. I can just say error like that, set error, and now I can make it simple like that. Now here, I'm saying if, what we can do here, I need to set error to false, of course, set error to empty string. But in case this one is not 200, now I can set an error here, message error, and say fetch set error fetching data. And even I can, whenever if I have a problem here, I can also update my error message. So it's okay. Okay. Now I have my error message. It should be fine. Now what should I do? Well, what I need to do here, I need a little bit somehow to update my stuff. So actually before that, I need an email also. I need to check the email here. How can I get the email? Any idea how can I get the email? How can I get my email? Const email. How can I get the email? I just show you now. Document dot. So it's document dot cookie. I just show you. And now here I will check if there is email. Then I don't want to do that, but actually I can now set my email to email. But I have a small problem here. When I say document.cookie, what type of email I will have? So if I go here, click on that, and I say document.cookie, what type of email I will have? I will have the key equal to value, and I have %14. I need to change this one to add, and I need to remove this one. So how can I do that? Well, it's quite simple. I can just say email dot split, and I will split by equal, and I'm going to take the, when I split here, it will be an array. I will take the second one, so with the index 1. Why? Because index 0 is the key, which is email. I want the value. But also, I want to replace %40 with at. And like that, I will have my email very nicely. And that should be simple, simply like that. So I managed to get my recipes, and now I managed also to get my email, which is great. Now here I can just use empty fragment, or I can just say recipe here. I can give it a class. So let me give it a class, and let's name it recipes like that. And in here now, what I can do, I can render conditionally. So remember the recipes here. It will be the recipes here. It will be yeah, but actually what I am planning here, maybe it will be a good idea to make it empty fragment like that. So now what do I want to do? Well, all I need to do now, I need to loop through my my recipes, because my recipes here, it's an array, as you know. So when I'm getting my recipes, it's an array. Let me put it inside div, it will be better. So let me put inside the div, and inside the div here, let's just name it class recipes. Recipes like that. And now I can render it conditional. So if I have my recipe like that, I say recipe.map. And now for each, because map is higher order method, it will be one recipe. And for each one recipe, I want to render something here, which will be a single recipe, which I do not have currently. Recipe, and now here I just want the single one. Voila. So for each recipe, as you can see, I will render the recipe component, which I do not have. I need to pass a key, and the key, it will be recipe.id. Is that correct? Underscore ID. And I am passing the recipe to this recipe component. Do I have the recipe component? Of course, I have the recipe component, as you can see. Now in this recipe component, I will receive this object, which is called recipe. And now here, I'm just looping through them. That should be fine here. I will also need to render the email here at the top. How can I render the email? Of course, it will be conditionally as well. I can just say email, and that means if I have an email, then what I can do here, I can just create a div. And yeah, I need to just create a div. Come on. I need to create a div, nice div like that. And inside this div, all I have to do now, I can just give it a class name if I want to, class name. And this class name, it will be email. And in here, what I need to pass also inside it, I can just say hello, comma, and then now here I will pass my email as you know, email like that. Voila. And that should be simple. So I'm checking first if I have an email, because I mean, if the emails and by default is an empty string, I don't want to show it. If the user is not logged in, I shouldn't show the email. If email and, so it must mean if I have an email, if it's through C, then I want to show the email in a div, and I will just have hello, comma, and the email, or should be enough. Now I just need to show the error as well, as you know, because maybe I have an error, and also the error, as you can see, it's rendered conditionally. So if I have an error, then I will create a div with class error, and I will pass my error simply like that. Now everything should be fine, but the problem here, I don't have, actually I do have recipe here, but I did not import it. So let me import my component here, which is recipe. So I can just say import recipe from recipe.js, which is great. And now what I need to do now, I need to go to inside the recipe, which I don't have anything here. So I can just say RAFCP. In the recipe here, I will need prop type. And also here, remember, I will have a prop, which will be recipe. Voila. Why do I have this recipe? Well, because in here, I'm using this component, which is, I'm using this component recipe, and I'm passing the recipe here object, as you can see. So that means I'll receive it as a prop inside this guy here. And what I'm doing, voila. So now recipe here, I know what's the structure of recipe. It will be an object, as you know. So what I can do here, I can just name it recipe. A recipe here, recipe is correct. It will be prop type dot object. I don't like dot object. I need to say dot shape. And shape, it will allow me to pass now all my property here, shape. And shape just like that. And now I can pass this one. What property do I need in this my object? Well, I need an ID, I need title, I need description, and here a step I don't need. This one is not correct. Voila. So ID, I will have title, I will have description, I will have ingredient, I will have. Actually, even this one is up. And there's something else I wish I need. What is it?
Image.
Indeed. So I have image, and my image also, it will be prop type dot string dot is required. And that's simply my my guy here. So I validate this guy recipe. Now all I need to do here is define byte is never used. Now all I need to do now, I need somehow to use this different component in order to render this this guy here. I will need to do actually a lot of work here, but in order to do something here, let's go to in here, and maybe I can just name it here. I can give it a class, and here I will name it recipe card. Recipe card. And in recipe card here, what I need to do here, first I need to show, I need to show the image, right? So in order to show the image, I will put it inside the div. Why? Because it will be easier to style it this way. And here I can give it a class. I can name it image, that img image container. Voila. And now I have image container. Now I need to render my image. So I can just render my image this way. And of course, here for the image, I will need to get this value here, which is source. So where will be my source? Well, my source, it will come in from recipe, as you know, dot image. That should be good. And alt, I do not really have an alt, so I can use the title. And here I can just say recipe dot title. And voila, that's my image should be good enough. And now for the other component, maybe here for the recipe title, I can create H3 if I want to. Again, it's totally up to you what you're going to create. I'm going to create H3, and I will name it recipe.title. .title. Also, I think I have ingredient, right? And I still have description. So on both of them, I'm gonna put them inside p tag paragraph. If you don't like paragraph, you can do whatever you want. It's totally up to you. And here I can just say recipe dot, and here it will be ingredient first. And the second one here, I can just copy this p tag. And it will be recipe dot description. And that's all I need. Voila. Voila. That's great. I'll be able to do some stuff here. So now what I need to do, actually it should show me something now. If I import everything correctly, recipes imported here, recipe. Register recipes, yeah, I mean, should be okay. Let's see. Oh, well, as you can see, I still have some warning. Invalid prop, recipe.ingredient is type string. Apply to the recipe, so where is it? Yeah, but it's type string. Okay, let's see. File prop type invalid prop recipe.ingredient of type string supply to recipe expected an array. No, I'm not expecting an array. That's wrong. That means I need just to go to my recipe and try to check it. Where is array? Yeah, see, I'm making something wrong. It's not an array. It's actually a string. It is string. And now this error is gone. Voila, if I refresh, I don't have this error anymore. Well, as you can see, I have my recipes. I know they're not beautiful. I know they're not cool. We can style them whenever. And I have my email, as you can see. Everything's fine here. Okay. Now, what do I want to do? Maybe I can copy some style. I'm not quite sure if they're going to work or not. I can copy some style from my previous project and try to see, just in case, to see if that will work or not. So I'm going to, what is this one here? It's recipes, recipes.cs. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if they will work or not, but it's a good idea just to have some stuff. So, so I'm gonna use this one here, and of course that's not book anymore. Let's go to recipes like that. So I have my recipes, which will be this one here, and I need just to replace it. Instead of books, I can use recipes. Oh yeah, that should be okay. And now here also, for one single recipe, I can also check the CSS. Importing the CSS? No, I am not. Import slash recipe. It's recipe.css. That should be good. It's 12. And now here in recipe, I'm gonna try to copy paste some CSS and try to modify it. Again, CSS, I mean, you should do your CSS yourself. Let's see here. Do we have a book card? Do we have recipe card? So I can just change this one to recipe card. And yeah, it can change all of it like that. And now here, go to replace it with recipe card and replace all, and everything should be fine. Image container, do I have image container? Yes, I have image containers, that should be fine. Recipe card 3, recipe buttons. I need to add some buttons because now I need to also make it available to the user to delete and update in case only if he is logged in. And if he's not logged in, I should not allow him to do so. Okay. Let's see if this style, well, style is working, which is not bad actually. Yeah. The recipe is not working. I need to build this one. And yeah, so it should be okay for now. Which one should work on now? Actually, let me work on the button. It's fine. Let me go to the single recipe. Now, for a single recipe, what I want to do, I want to check if the user is logged in. And if the user is logged in, I want to show two buttons, just like books. One of them, it will be edit, and one of them, it will be delete. And when the user click on the delete here, it will send a request to the backend to delete this recipe. And for edit here, I should create a new form. And so when I click on this button, I should create a new form. And this form, it will already be filled with the current data. I like that I can update it. So let's start with this button. I want to show this button, but how could I show this button? Well, to show this button, I need to know if the user is logged in or not. So how could I know if the user is logged in or not? Any idea?
Cookies.
Yes, so indeed. So what I can do here, and before I'm importing this guy here, I'll need to import I'll need to import useState and useEffect because probably I'm going to use both of them. Import useState and useEffect. UseEffect like that, voila, from React. I will also need to import Axios. Why do I need Axios? Because probably I'm going to send a request to the backend. That should be fine. Okay, now after I'm importing my Axios, after I'm importing my hook useState and useEffect, what I can do here, I can go here and I can create a piece of state to make sure the user owns, to check if the user is logged in or not. So I can just say is logged in, and here set is logged in. So by default, it will be false. That means the user is not logged in. Well, now here to check if the user logged in or not, I will need to use useEffect. And you may tell me, why do we need useEffect? Why do we need to do that in the useEffect? Well, because the useEffect simply this hook it's run when the user is being, when the component is being mounted. That means when the component is being added to the DOM. And that's actually what we need. When this component is added to the DOM, we need to know if the user is logged in or not. Because if it's logged in, I need to show him some extra button. And if not, I cannot show him some extra button. So what I can do, it's quite simple here. All I have to do, just check his email. By the way, it's exactly like the navigation bar. So if I go to here, it's exactly like this one. So I'm going to copy this one, simply like that. That should be okay. So let's go to what I'm working on. I was working on a single recipe. So all I have to do now, I just need to add this code. Voila. I'm checking if there is email, document.cookie. If there is email, I want to set is logged in. And here, let's just name it is logged in. Just to make sure here, set. I know it's is logged in, it's not set is logged in. Like that, and here it's is logged in. Okay, that's fine. We are checking this one, but maybe I need another piece of state, which will be the error here in case I need to show some error. For some reason, I don't know if I try to delete as something or update this recipe, maybe it work or does not work. So it's a good idea to have an error message. And I have said error, step error. And by default, it will be here an empty string. Okay, so what I can do now? Well, what I can do now here, I can go here at the bottom of my component here. Just do it this way. And now here I can render conditionally. What do I mean? I say is logged in. That means if the user is logged in as a value here, it will be either true or falsy. So if the user is logged in, then I want to do something. And what will be this something? Well, I want to show a div with class buttons. Yeah, and it was good for me. Now I need two buttons. I'll need edit and I will need delete, as you know. So I need to have edit and delete. Now here for this one, I'm gonna give it a class. As a class here, it will be edit button. And for the second one, I need to add a class to it as well. And the class, it will be delete button. Voila. And voila. So only when the user is logged in, then I will be able to see, the user will be able to see these two buttons because I'm running them conditionally. That means if the user is not logged in, simply he will not be able to see this button. As for the error message, I want to render it before the button here in case I have it. So all I have to do, I can just say, or I need to render it conditionally as well. Error and here I want to create a div. Yeah, but I want to create a div like that, and the div, it could have a class which we can name it error, so class name error. And here I need to render my error, voila. And voila, and that should be good. And that's it. Simply like that. And now here, if I go to here, because the user now here, of course, it look like I need to style something here. As you can see, the bottom are not cool. I need to give more space for this one. Actually, the image is taking a lot of space. Maybe the image, I can make it a little bit width, height. Yeah, I think it will be nicer like that. So let's go get the image and give it 15%. Image container. Do I have image container somewhere? Yes, image container. It's 17%. Let's just make it 15%. Yeah. After that, of course, you can play with the style the way you want. Just a little bit better, I think. Fine. So now what do you want? Well, we need some functionality here. When you click on this one, we need to do something. When we click on this one, we want to do something else. And that depends. In order to do so, I just need to use an event here. So how can I do that? Well, it's quite simple. Let's go to recipe. And here in the bottom here, I can add event. What will be my event? What is my event? On what?
Click.
Yes. So on click here, and I will name it handle edit or edit handler, whatever you want to name it. It's okay. Edit handler. I still don't have this function, of course. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. And here, instead of edit, I will just name it delete handler. Delete handler, just like that. Well, now I have two functions. I need to create these two functions simply. So let me go to here. Under the use effect, now I can create my both function. So that will be edit handler, and the second one, it will be delete handler. So first, delete handler. And yeah, there may be a async function actually, but for now, let's just keep it this way. If I'm planning to send a request to the backend, I need to be async function. That's simply what it is. Okay, now I am doing that. That's fine. That's nice. Now, what do I want to do on edit? Well, when the user click on this edit here, I need something really simple. All I need to do here, I need to redirect the user to edit / the book ID. But how can I redirect the user to another route here? So how can we do that? How can I redirect the user?
Use navigate.
Yes, indeed. I can use navigate here, and use navigate is coming from React Router DOM, so we can just import. Use navigate. Use navigate, and it's coming from React Router DOM. For this one here, of course, I need to structure it first. So let me use it here. So I can just say const navigate. It's equal to use navigate, and now all I have to do here, I can just come to inside my function here, and I can just say navigate to edit / ID. As you can see, edit /, but I don't have the ID. Well, just the ID is the recipe.id, as you can see, a ._ID, and that should be good. That's all I need. So when the user click on this button here, which is edit, I need to redirect him to this guy here. And of course, now I will create a component to handle the edit one here. Okay, that's fine. But what about that? This one is simple. I've just redirected. But what about delete? Well, delete, when the user click on delete, I'll make this function async function. Why async function? Because I'm planning to send. Request to the backend, and now I can use my try and catch. And of course, in case I have an error for some reason, I already have the error message, as you can see. So if I have any error for some reason, I can now set the error, give it something went wrong, for example, cannot delete the book, something went wrong, or just let's say cannot delete the book. And just make it this one, because I'm planning to use apostrophe, so can't delete recipe, something like that. That should be fine. Also, I can now log the error into my console so I can see it as well. So error, something like that. That's fine. But yeah, so what I can do here, I can just say const for response is equal to await. And here I need to await axios.delete, and here it will be API recipe /ID. But of course, now I need to add HTTP :/ localhost And here it will be 5004. And that should be good, I think. Yes. Perfect. I'm not done yet. What I need to do now, I need to pass, when I'm trying to delete, I need to pass some extra data, which I don't have to pass anything actually. But the reason why I'm adding this one, because I need to make this one here with credential true. Because if I don't say with credential true, and remember, I'm trying to delete a recipe. So when I'm trying to delete a recipe, or I'm trying to add, or I'm trying to update, I need to pass this one with credential true. Because on my backend course, I'm saying credential true. That's the reason. And I have this object because normally we can send some data when we are trying to delete something. But in this case, as I don't need to send anything. But of course, because I don't want to say anything, I will just make it an empty object. And the third object here, we are passing to Axios. That's how Axios work. So if I need to pass some data here when I'm trying to, for example, to add, I need to pass some data here. Now, in case of delete, I don't want to pass any data, but I want to make with credential true. So here now I can just, if response.status is 200, then I can just navigate to slash. And what do I mean by navigate to slash? Well, it will remove the recipe and it will go to all recipe slash, it's all recipes like that. And actually I am already, if I go here, I click on this one, I'm already on all actually. So what I can do here, I don't want to navigate actually. Maybe I just need to do something. What do I need to do something? When I delete, I don't want actually to change because I'm already in slash, but I need to do something. What should I do? Refresh. Refresh. Yes. I just need to reload my page because when I reload my page, it will, I need to say Windows or window.location.reload, and it will reload my page, and the guy is being deleted. It will be removed simply like that. Here else, if the status is not 200, I'm going to set my error cannot delete the recipe simply like that, and that should be okay.
Maybe it's a good idea to write a message also that it was deleted successfully.
But the idea here is this message, it will come in from the backend. No, delete. I mean, when you try to delete, what was going to do when delete happened, it will automatically reload the page. You will not be able to see the image. Okay, it will automatically reload. Yeah.
Because usually when we delete something, it's like something big. So there is always like, do you really want to delete this recipe or some alert? You know?
You can make it as complex as you want here. It's totally up to you. Here you can, for example, use set timeout and show the user a message for a certain number of second or millisecond or whatever you want to. So you can do that. For me, I'll make it simple now. Where if this is successful, I just reload. When I reload this item, it will be gone. Is it clear here what we did here? So as you can see, these two buttons here, I'm rendering them conditionally. Only if the user is logged in. I'll see the button, which I have two here, edit and delete. When I hit edit, it will just redirect me to slash edit slash the ID of the item I'm trying to update. If I have delete, I'm sending a request to the backend, which is delete here. I'm passing with credential true. And then after that, if it's true, if the status is 200, that means the book deleted successfully. I'm reloading my page. Other than that, I will just show this error message. And the error message is being rendered conditionally. And like that, we finish recipe. We'll be able to finish also update and delete. But we're still not done. Can anyone tell me what we still need to do? We still have some work. What is our work? Our work, it will be in add recipe and edit recipe. Because currently, as you can see, add recipe, I've deleted everything. So unfortunately, now I need to work on add recipe again. So what should I do in add recipe? When I'm trying to add a recipe, what should I do? Or what do I need actually?
Create form.
Yes, absolutely. I need to create a form. Probably I will not need any component. I'm not need any props here. So I'm going to delete these guys. And here, what I need, probably I will need to use useState. So I can just import useState. Use state like that from React. And I'll use navigate. I will need it somehow because I'm quite sure when I'm trying to add the recipe, then I will redirect it to slash. So maybe I can use navigate again. and navigate. I'm adding them here. If I need them, it will be okay. If I don't need them, well, I can just remove them. It will be okay. Axios, I will need it because I'm planning to send a request to the backend. And for now, that should be okay. That's all is what I need. Okay. Now, what do I need to do here when I'm trying to update something here? Well, probably I will need a few pieces of state. So I will need a state for the title. I will need a state for so we have title. What else do we have? Ingredient and description and image, and maybe have an error as well. But before we start all of that, let's use with navigate, const navigate, use navigate, because here, whenever I use it, I need it, I can use navigate now. And here I can just say const. Let's go first with the title. Title set title. Probably I'll need a title. If you don't like it this way, you can put this one in the top. It doesn't matter really. Both of them as a top level. Okay, and what else do I have? Well, I have ingredient, if I'm not mistaken, const ingredient. A description, I will need description. I need also image and set image, which is great. But I will need also ingredient. So let's just say const ingredient, set ingredient, which is quite nice. So all of them are string, and as you can see, and the last one I need, it will be an error. It will be nice to show the error. Error, set error. You can, by the way, use loading. Maybe in the coming project, I can show you how to use loading. So to show a loading, we only need CSS. And on the loading here, when you are trying to send a request to the backend, you should show the user loading, so he know. And when you get your data, you should disable or remove the loading. But now that's fine for now. So what do I need to do? Well, let's go to this div here. And this div, maybe it will be a good idea to give it a class. As a class here, it will be add book class. I'm sorry, it will be add recipe, right? Add recipe like that. Okay. Now, add recipe, do I need anything special here? Well, I need a form, of course. Let's create a form. As an action, I don't need any action for now. I just need my form. And inside my form, of course, I will need different stuff. So I will need first label. So I will need a label. And this label here, it will be for title. Because the first one, it will be title. And here I can simply add title, as you can see. Now here I need to put my input, which my input, it will be title. So I type here, it's text. The ID is title. The value here, it will be title. And here on change event here, I will just take set title to event.target.value. I mean, that should be very simple. Okay, require, maybe I can add require as well. It will be really nice to add require. Adding require, it will just, if the user try to add something or just tries to click add without filling any of this input, it will just give the user a hint, a message directly. Do I have value? Yes. So I have required. Yes. Let's close this one. I have type. I have ID.
Do we need name?
Yes, absolutely. We need name. Yes. So name. Title. That should be okay. That's the first one. Now, after that, here, I can just duplicate it if I want to, or I can create someone for ingredient, which is good. We are here is making it a text area. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to make a text area or label. It doesn't really matter. ID, ingredient, name, ingredient, require value, on change, event.target.value, ingredient, and here we have it. I should be okay. Now, after that, I need a description. So also the description, we can just make it a normal input. So here, so let's make it input. And of course, this input here, the type, it will be text, as you know. I need to add, I need to add an ID. And the ID, of course, it will be description. And I need to add a name. The name, it will be description. What did I forget? I need to add value, and the value, it will be description, right? Now I need to add on change. So let's add on change here. So state description, it will be event.target.value, and that should be okay. The last one, it's an image. I'm not mistaken, right? So ingredient, description, and I need
And require.
image. Yeah, we can add require, which is good actually. And normally adding require is here. It's better. Voila. And here we need label for image. So let's add a label. And it will be for image like that. And we need to add all of this stuff here. No, that's label. Here, let's just add image. And now here, let's put our input, type text, ID image, name image, required value should be fine. And now here, I just need to close my stuff here. And of course, now I need something important. Can anyone tell me what is this something important? I'll need a button or not? Will I need a button or
Yes.
not? Of course. So add recipe. And here type, it will be submit, of course. So type submit. That should be good. Now, in case I have error and set error, I want to render the error before the button. So it will be conditional rendering here. If error here, I'm gonna replace it with div. I prefer div. And maybe I can add a class also, the class, it will be error. The class name, error like that. Okay, I think that should be okay. Now everything should be fine here. And what I need to do here in the form, so when the form, when I'm trying to, when I'm here, I need to, when I'm trying to submit my form, I have an event. What is this event? Can anyone remind me what is this event?
On submit.
On, yes, so on submit, I will have a function here, and this function, well, I can now pass my E here if I want to. And here it will be submit form, let's name it submit form or add or whatever you want. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna create my submit form. So const submit form. Yeah, it need to be async, by the way. Can anyone tell me why it need to be an async? Why it need to be an async? Actually, I don't even need that. So let's just remove it. I can just pass a submit form like that. Yeah, why do I need, why I need to be async?
Will connect with database.
Yes, because now here I will try to add a new, I'll try to add a new recipes. That means I need to connect to my database. But what will be the first step? I need to prevent the default. So e.prevent default. Why? Because the default behavior of the form is try to submit the data to the backend. That's not what I want to. And here, after that, what I can do also, I can just use try and catch if I want to. Try and catch, what is it? Voila. If I have an error, I can just show the error, it's fine. Set error, error.message here, or you can add any message you want to. Let's add our message here. I just say, could not add a recipe. Okay, now what should we do here in the try? Well, in the try, we need to make sure that we have title, we have ingredient, we have description, and we have image, because we need all three. So what I can say here, I can just say if title and ingredient and description, and of course, and image, I have all of those, I'm gonna do something. But if I don't have those, I need to do something else. And this something else, it will be just, I just need to update my message here. So I can say set error, please fill all the required fields, something like that. And that should be enough here. Rendering my error, great. Now let's go to the try. If I have all of them, I can just say const response, it's equal to await Axios, as you know, dot post. I'm trying to post what? I'm trying to post to HTTP localhost 5004. And here it will be to recipe. And after that, I need to pass a few data, I think. So this object here, it will be my data. And the second object, it will be with credential. With credential.
True. And also API / recipes.
You are absolutely right. Always forget it. But don't worry, now I need to pass my data here. So what different data I have? Well, I have title, and I have ingredient, and I have description, and I have image as well. Voila. Now, if the key and value is the same, you know that I don't have to repeat it again. So yeah, that should be. I also can log the error here if I want to, just to see the error in the console and try to find solution for it. But what's important for me here, if that's successful here, I can see if status, if rest.status, it's equal to how much? How much?
201.
201, because I'm trying to add a new entry. If that's the case, I'm just gonna navigate, and I already have navigated, as you know, I will navigate to slash, else I will just add the error could not add recipe or something. Else is not correct, so else like that should be correct. Voila.
And if we would like to add to the top, the new recipe on the top, so how can we do it?
What do you mean add new recipe to the top?
Because when we add the recipe, it's always at the end of all the recipes. But if you would like to have the first one here.
Well, if you want to have the first one, what you need to do, you need to go to your recipes here. And when you receive your array, so you can here just sort it, ascending or descending, depending on the ID or whatever you want. So you can just sort your array depending on what you want. Because normally you will have date or something like that. So when you have the date, you can now assert. It's just the idea here, you already have your recipes. And when you have your recipes here, and we are mapping through your recipe, as you can see. So what you can do before you are mapping here, you can just create a small function here, and you can sort your function according to whatever you want, and then you can pass your recipe here. You got the idea, Agnieszka?
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Good. And now here, if I click on add recipe, yes, it's very ugly. As you can see, we need to find a solution for that. So where is it? Add recipe. And that's my CSS. I'm even not importing my CSS. So let's import. So slash add recipe.css. Again, I'm gonna try to take some code from the previous project and try to modify it, which would be the easiest way. So let's click on that, and let's click on this guy. I need to check all of those. Add recipe. Add recipe, it's here. Let me click that. Okay, what do I have here? So I have add recipe and I have add book. All I have to do, I need to change these two guys. So let me get rid of those. And here add book, actually, I can find it and I can replace it with add recipe, and I can do it for all. And as you can see, yeah, here form here, I just need to add some space, label some space, input some space, recipe button some space, that should be fine. Add recipe button, and here add recipe div. So yeah, let's hope that will work. I do not know. Let's go. Oh, voila, it's something nice actually. And yeah, so that's okay. If I click on this one, it will give me a nice ad here. So let's try to add a new recipe here. So I'm gonna go to recipe. Here, let's add title, ingredient, and description, and image. Is it 12 already? Almost. I will finish add recipe, just tested it, and after that we can take our lunch break, and the second half I can show you. I think we finished everything. We just need to add the update and we are done. Let's check if we have recipe. Just anyone. And let's just take this one. Accept all, and here it will be shakshuka. I'm quite sure you know what the shakshuka is, right? No? shakshuka, and here we have, come on, copy image address, and I'm going to in here, paste it here, and here I need ingredient. So I can just say shakshuka. Oh. Ingredient, and here it will give me, come on. Yeah, so I need vegetables, spices, tomato, stuff like that. Of course, you can just add stuff like that if you want the spices. And I need eggs. And I think fresh herbs. I'll add this one here for description. Yeah, what can I do? What description I have? I'm gonna copy this one here, and I'm gonna paste it here. And let's click add recipe, and voila, as you can see, shakshuka has been added, as you can see immediately, and it will redirect me to the home page, and shakshuka, vegetable, all of them. And then I have delete and edit. Delete should be functional. So now if I go to my database here, let's go to recipes, and let's refresh. It should have 4, as you can see. So now I'm gonna test it, delete, and delete should work actually. So let's click on delete. Yeah, it looked like I have a problem. API recipe. What's the problem? HTTP localhost 5004 API recipe /ZID. Yes. Internal server error. Why internal server error? Not sure. Let's click. It's not functional, look like. I need to check it. Okay, guys, let's take our lunch break, and after that we'll come and we'll try to fix. So now we have 2 functionality. Add recipe is working. Get all recipe is working. Now I need to just check this functionality of these 2, edit and delete. So for edit, I need to create a new form. For delete, I just need to create nothing. You already does the functionality, but I need to check why is that working. Okay?
Okay, bon appétit.
Okay, bon appétit.
Bon appétit.
Bon appétit.
So the issue I was encountering when deleting an item, actually, it was in my backend. The issue simply, it was in verify token. Why? Because here in the route, I did use verify token here. And if I go to verify token, what I was using EGS. So in verify token here, I was not using JSON, I was using EGS. So I was using render and 404 and like that. And that's the reason why it's just telling me you did not set any templating engine and you are using the templating engine. So I replaced them with JSON, and now everything should be fine. Is it okay, guys? That was the problem.
Yes.
Okay. Let's close our backend here. Let's go to our front end, and we will go to, where is it? Recipe, single recipe. So as you can see here in the recipe, I will explain everything here. It's just when we are doing the delete, we have the URL, and then we have credential immediately. I've shared with you on Slack how Axios work. So if you go to the Axios like that, do npm, it could be interesting actually to have a look at Axios. If we go down, I will show you just this one. So when you are doing get with Axios, normally you will pass your URL, and then you have some configuration, depending what configuration you want. And the configuration must be an object. When you try to delete Axios.delete URL, then configuration. For example, what we are trying to now, we're trying to delete. So that's the URL, and directly we have the configuration. And the configuration here is an object with credential true. That will need it. When you try to do post, you will have URL, then you need data, which will be an object, then configuration. And also put. When you try to update something, you need to pass the URL, the new data, which will be an object, and also the configuration. So for post and put is the same, for delete and get is the same. And that's simply what we are doing actually. So we are just passing our URL, and then what setting do you want? You want with credential true. Okay, if I now try to test the delete, it should work perfectly. So let me try to just do anything. That's not what I want to. Let's go to network. And notice if I try to delete this one, what will happen? So if I click on it, my page directly refresh and is being removed, as you can see, and being deleted. I will try to add more recipe, and after that, I need to work on the edit, and I should be done. So yeah, let me go to this one here, and let's just see, create. Maybe it will, yeah, but here it will not give me the image. I don't want that. Recipes, and let's see what recipe do we have. Click on that. Yeah. I don't want to go in the website here. Just want to see some recipes. Okay, warming soup, I don't know what. So let's copy the image address here. And let's, where is it? That's it. And let's add our image. And the name was warming soup. Yes. And let's go here. Where is it? Let's go here. And let's add this one. The ingredient, what ingredient? I'm gonna remove Axios. I don't need it anymore here. So what do I need here? Yeah, but that's not what I want to. Let's say chicken or stuff like that. I'm gonna add something here from my side. So I don't know, chicken. I don't know, fruits, bread, whatever you want. And here's a description here. I'm just some description. I don't care. And if I say add, as you can see, is that I have my working or more my morning soup, chickens, fruit, bread, blah blah. And as you can see, I have the delete and edit. Actually, that's not perfect because still the style here, it's really awful. What I need to do here, I need to make this space here of editing, it's fixed all the time like that. All the time, my image here, it will have specific size. This area also need to have specific size. So as you can see here, we have the bottom up, here they have down. So the bottom is adjusting during, according to this area. What we can do here, we can make the height of this area fixed. So if I say image container, that's not what I want to. Here's this guy and this guy here. And maybe I can put these three here inside one div. So if I put these three here, H3 and P, if I put it inside one div, I can give it a specific height, and like that, it all the time, even if I have less writing here, it will take the same space. But that's CSS anyway. Now, what do I want to do? As you can see, everything is being functional very well. I'm able to add a recipe. I'm able to delete a recipe. I'm able to get all recipe. Now, what I need to work on is edit a recipe. So how can that work, which is edit recipe? Well, if I click on edit recipe, edit, as you can see, it will take me to /edit, and I have this the ID of the recipe. And I have currently edit recipe, which is nothing here in my component. So I need to go to edit recipe here, voila. And as you can see, currently I have nothing. So what do I want to install here? Probably I will need use state, use effect. It's a good idea to use navigate, because after I'm editing my my recipe, I will redirect to /. So it's a good idea to use navigate, and I will use Axios, of course. Okay, so what should I do here? Any idea? Any idea what should I do? First, I need to import some stuff, right? What are the stuff? Use state, and are you sleeping? Use effect. I will also import use navigate, import use navigate from React Router DOM. I also have something else from React Router DOM, which is called use params. Use params, voila. And of course, you will tell me what is use param. I'll show you now what is use param. So what should I do here? Well, here I need to actually specify a few properties here. So let me create piece of state here, const. First, probably I will need ID. Well, first I need to get the ID. How can I get the ID? Any idea how can I get the ID? How can I get the ID? ID, it's equal to use param. So when I say use param, notice when you click on this one here, that's my ID here. And this my ID is a param actually. So in React, if we want to get this ID, we can just say use param, and use param, it will give us an object, and we can run directly destructure it actually. And like that, we can have the ID, simply like that. So whenever you have edit and slash the ID, how can we get this ID in our component? Well, you can use param, as that's the reason why we are using use param. So use param here, it will return me an object with all the param I have. And currently I only have one param. As you can see, it should be this ID. And I want to destructure it because it's an object. Of course, now I will show you in the log. So it will be just ID and destructure here. I need to, yes.
And it shouldn't be underscore ID?
No, because it depends on what I am sending here, okay? It depends what I am sending. So if I go to my route here, where is it? Let me go to, recipe. This is a front end, Agnieszka. This is not a backend. So as you can see, I'm just saying edit. And here I'm saying recipe.id. So I'm passing the recipe.id here. When I grab the param does not care if it's underscore ID or upperscore ID in your database. What it care about is after the slash, I have an ID. And then it will put this param inside an object and it will call ID. Okay?
Okay.
Fine. Okay, let's go now here. And now what I need to do, I have a lot of job to do in a recipe. So use navigate, we are still using it. And here, maybe I need a lot of stuff. So here, first I will need the title, right? So const title, set title. And of course, here it will be string, as you know. Set title, that should be fine. I also need ingredient, yes, and all description, and I will need image. So I need all these 4 guys here. And also I will have an error just in case. So I can just add my error here. So, okay, what did I do here? Well, as you can see, if I go to this specific route here inside my React router DOM, I have /ID. And in order to grab this ID, we use just a new hook, which is called useParam. And useParam here, normally, as you can see here, what's going to do here, it will grab whatever the param is, and after that, it put it inside an object. And in order to extract these objects here, we are using destructuring, and that's the ID. Navigate, you already know. Those of you already know, that's not a problem with that. Okay, that's fine. I need now somehow to create a form, because in reality, I need a form. I need a form to update my stuff here. So first, let's go to this one here, and let's give it a class. And the class for it to be edit recipe. Voila. And inside edit recipe, I will need a form, of course. And I don't need that, so let me remove the action. And in here, I will need to add all property again. So I will have a label. And this label here, it will be for a title. So I will not just, I will just title. And here, I will just put my title. And now here, of course, I will need an input, as you know. Input here type, it will be text. What's the problem here? The problem here, I did not close it. Well, so I have label for title, as you can see. So the ID need to be title, and the name also I need to add it. So name, it need to be also title. And required true actually should be interesting as well. So let's add required. It will be okay. Fine. So it's the same idea, type text, ID title, name is title, because I'm using here title. For the value, it will be title. And here, when I make any change, I will take the event.target.value. That's for the title. I need the ingredient, the same idea. So I'm gonna create label and I will add an input. It's the same idea, no different between the two. So here we are just repeating. Text, ID, ingredient, name, ingredient, and make sure they are the same required value, and that should be good. We need also for the description, which will be the same as well. And I think here type was not text. Yeah, it was not an input actually. No, one of them was not input. Which one it was?
Ingredients was text area.
Ingredient was text area. So let me go here and let me replace this one with text area.
But actually,
Now-
description, it's also a good idea to have a text area.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't know how we created this, so I don't know. Text area. I just need to close it. / text area. Here, I think we make it an input if I'm not mistaken. But you can make a text area if you want to. It's no different. What's different is just a text area allow you to write more text here. What the hell is going on here? Text area. Let me take all of that, cut it, and here is just text area, and now here it should be fine. Voila. Why is it not working this way? Okay, I have type. Actually, this one should be inside the text area. Yeah, those guys here should be inside the text area, all of them actually. Voila. So that's text area. You want to make this one text area, it's totally up to you, but I think the previous one, I did not make a text area, so it's the same. For description, it should be the same. And after that, I have the last one, which will be image. An image here, we can just make it an input as you will. And then, of course, we need a button, type submit. And that should be okay, I think. Nothing else. Okay, now what I need to do here, I need to just go to here and just say on submit. And on submit, I need to create my function here, and I just say submit. You can name it whatever you want to. Submit form. Voila. I'm going to copy this guy. I need to copy this one here. Submit form. It will be a sync function because I need to send a request to the backend. Submit form, which will equal to async function, and I am having the event, and that should be okay. Okay, what's the hell problem here? Submit form, yes. So it's telling me I want you to pass the event. That's simply how it is, which is strange. No, actually.
No, it asks you to F capital.
Be careful with the word. Okay. Okay, you're right. So now here is just, I need to use camel casing, the rest should be fine. And we are just repeating the task here. No more, no less. So what should I do here? Well, what I should do here actually, first, before I add my form here, when this component is loaded, what I can do, so here, I'm using use effect. So let's go to use effect here and click on that and voila. So what we are doing here, and here array of dependency, it will be ID. That means whenever the ID changes, I will send a request to get another recipe. Now, the point here is why we are doing that. What I want to do now, I want to send a request to the backend. Why? Because I want to get the data which is related to this recipe ID. And when I give this data, and now I can set the value, so I can show all this value which belong to the recipe. So I will have the recipe title. I can show it inside the title input. Same for ingredients, same for description, same for image, because that's how edit should work. When I click on edit, it should take me to a form, and I should already have all my data inside the input, and then I can modify them. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Yes, no?
Yes.
Because I don't have the data here. I only have the ID here. So I need to send a request to the backend to get the recipe with this ID. And when I give this ID, I can now put all the default value for those guys there. So let's try to do that. How can we do that? Well, and remember, it will be an array dependency. I need to have the ID. Whenever the ID change, I need to do that. So maybe I can just say const get recipe or fetch recipe or whatever you want to call it. Get recipe, it's single one. It will be an async function, as you know. And here, voila. That should be good. And of course, now what I can do, or what I need to call the function. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, so now what should I do here? Well, we are using Axios, so I can just simply use try and catch directly. If I have an error for some reason, I can console.log the error, of course, to see what the error is. That's first. But what I can do also, I can set the error here to some message here. So set error like that, cannot get recipe, for example. That will be. And here in the try, what I can do, I can just say const response, it's equal to await. Oh, come on. Const response is equal to await. Fetch, I'm not fetch, actually, I need to use Axios. Why fetch? Because I did not import Axios here. Import Axios from Axios. And now here, simply I can remove this one. I can use Axios, Axios.get. And now here, all I have to do, I need to pass my stuff here, which will be something like that. It'll be HTTP localhost 5004/API recipe, and as the ID, as you can see, I already have the ID here, which is great. I don't think I need with credential true here. I will check it. I don't think I need it, but if I need it, I can pass it later. So you know, here I need to make a check. I can just say if res.status is 200. That's mean I got my recipe successfully, and here I need to do some stuff. Else, well, I can now update my error and do something with my error. Cannot get recipe, something like that, for example. Now, when I get my recipe here, now I need to update this value here, because the default value here was the reason why I am getting this recipe. So I give this value here, what I'm getting, I update the title, also the ingredient, or the description, also the image, because I need this value here. So how can I do that? Well, it is quite simple. So what I can do here, I can just say set title, and in order to set title, as you can see here, it will be response.data.title, set ingredient, response.data.ingredient, response.data.description, and same for image. Now what I can do here, I can make it really simple. So I can just say const recipe data or recipe, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to save res.data here, and here all I have to do here, instead of accessing all these objects, I can just pass recipe data dot title, recipe data dot ingredient. You understand why I replace it with? Because here I'm trying to access these objects, then I'm trying to access the data, then I'm trying to access this one. It's not performance. It's better just to replace these two objects, just save them directly and access one object. Like that, my code, it will be better performance. And voila. And now, for some reason, what if I don't have a title? What should I do? I can simply just say so, or empty strings. That means if I don't have the title for some reason, it will be an empty string. And same here for ingredient, because it's a string. If I don't have the value, I make it empty string. Same here. And image also, it's a string. So if I don't have the value for some reason, it will set it to 0. So what that's supposed to mean is that's what you call, you know what's or mean. So if this is one true C, that means if I have a title, which will not be empty string, it will take this value. But if it's false C, it will go to the second one. That means it will take the value, which is empty string. And that should be enough, I think. Clear? Yes, no?
But before it was required, all of the was that the title, ingredients, description, image, they were required, but now they are not required. It can be empty string.
No,
Or it
they are.
be the
No, they are required, but you don't know what happened to code, and we never know. So when you program, sometimes yes, they are required. I should have them, but what if you don't have them for some reason? Something go wrong, and you don't have them. So here, just to make sure we will not have any error, any bug in our application, in case I don't have it, I'm just saying, in case I don't have the title, I wanted to make it empty string. If I don't have the ingredient, well, if I don't have this one, Now, normally I should have all of them, but here just like I'm putting a condition to make sure that my application will not crash for any reason. You got the idea?
Because now I'm getting and not updating. Because if I update,
No,
So-
but we are getting,
mhm.
and then we are updating this value. Because why I'm sending a request to get this recipe? Because I want the title, I want the ingredient, I want the description, and I want the image. Why? Because the default value for the title, it should be the title of this one. The default value of ingredient should be this one. The default value for description should be in this one, because I'm trying to edit.
Mhm.
So I'm
Okay.
trying to get them, and in case for any reason, if they are not there, I'm saying, okay, I want you to do just empty string, just simply like that. Okay,
Mhm.
should be cool. And now we don't have anything. Now all we need to do now, we need to work on our form, and we should be done. Okay, now I am inside my form. The problem is use effect is finished. I am calling my function. Remember something here. This function depending on the ID. Why? Because if the ID changes, I will have a different recipe. That's the reason why I put ID in the array of dependency, because this function here depends on the ID. If the ID changes, I should send another request because I will have a new recipe simply. Well, that's my form. First, I need to prevent default. So it will be event.prevent default like that, because the default behavior of the form is just try to submit data to the backend. That's not what I want to. And now here, what I can do here, I need to use try and catch. Why do I need to use try and catch? Why try and catch? Why try and catch? Because I'm sending a request to the backend. So when the user fill in all this data and click on edit, actually it should not be edit, it should be update maybe. Why do I need to edit recipe? Anyway, edit recipe or update recipe. So when the user click on the button, I need to send a request to the backend. And that's what I'm doing here. Submit form, what I'm doing here, I will prevent the default. I will now try to send a request to the backend to edit my recipe. In case I have any error for some reason, what I need to do here, let's log the error so we can see what's the error. And also let's update our error here. So we have set error cannot edit recipe for some reason. But I did not render the error, I think. So what I can do here, I can just go here and render the error conditionally, as you can see. If there is error, I want you to create a div and div with class error, and I want you to render the error. That's fine. We get rid of this one. What will be the second step? Well, it's quite simple. Const response, it's equal to await. And here I will try to update. So I need to use axios.put. Remember, input here, I will have different values. The first value here, it will be my URL. So in my URL, I need to have HTTP localhost 5004 API recipe /ID. And the second parameter here, it will be my data, which will be an object. And the third parameter here, I will have, it will be the configuration I'm trying to edit. That means I need to say with credential what? With credential? True. So I need to say here with credential true, that's first. And here I need to pass my data, of course. What data do I have? Well, I have title. I should have title. I should have ingredient. So title, ingredient, description, and image, like that. And now what I can do actually, here I can even put all of that, cut all of these guys. I can cut it. And here I can just make a condition. I just say if I have a title, and I have ingredient. If I have all of them, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to send a request to the backend. And thus I'm going to just put my code here. Voila. Of course, if I don't have all of them, what I need to do, I can just update my message error and say all fields are required, which is good. Now here, what do I need to do? Well, I'm trying to update something, so I can just say if rest.status. What will be the status when I'm trying to update? What will be the status when I'm trying to update?
200.
Of course, it will be 200. If it's 200, that means it's been updated. So now what should I do? What should I do? If it's status 200, what should I do? Well, I can now navigate to slash. So I will just navigate to slash. So now I have navigate. And voila, I don't need that here, all ID, I just need slash. Voila. Well, that's what if it's not 200 for some reason? Well, yeah, I just can update my error, and that should be fine. So the idea here, when I click on the submit here or edit whatever, I'll send a request to the backend. That's my URL, which is fine. And then I'm passing my data, as you can see, title, ingredient, description, image. And then the third one here, it's setting, which is with credential true, because not any user can simply edit the data here or edit the recipe. She should be a verified user with token. If the status 200, now I'm refreshing or I'm navigating to slash. And maybe later on when I navigate to slash, maybe I need to refresh the page or reload the page so I will have a new data. I will check later if I have them. And the rest should be simple, I think. That's simply my code. Let's go here. Oh my God. It's very ugly. Let me just import PS here. I'm going to copy the edit from the last stuff, last project, and try to, hopefully, if it will work. I don't know. So let me go to recipe here because it's very ugly. So now we have, edit recipe instead of edit book. So let me copy this one. Let me find it. Now here I can just replace it and replace all. And that should be okay. So we have edit, 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 and edit one. That's perfect. Let's go see our application. Let me expand this one. Look like currently I do not have any problem, at least from what I'm seeing. And here I have, as you can see. So let's go to recipe, refresh. It looks like I have no problem. Let's try to edit this one, which is warming soup. So if I click on edit, notice what will happen. I need to send a request to the backend. Why? Because I need to get this information. So click, and as you can see, the title is warming soup. So the default value, it must be the current value. And here ingredient, chicken, fruit, bread, and description is blah, blah, blah. Now here, to make sure that it's working, I can just add 2 here. I can add 2 here, and I can 2 here. I'm not gonna update the image. If I click on that, now I go here, see, 2, 2, 2. That means it's editing correctly. If I try again, notice now it give me 2. I don't want 2. I'll remove it. It was just for testing. Voila, and voila. And then if I click on that, voila, we get the name. And now, as you can see, the edit and the delete and also the add recipe, all of them are working perfectly. There is something which I do not like, which is the ingredient. We make a text area. So as you can see here, I don't like it really. So what I'm going to do here, let me clean my backend just for a second, and then I need to clean my backend in case I have any console.log. I need to remove them. No, that's okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I have log here. I need to remove it. And that should be fine. I don't have anything else. User, everything's perfect. Click, click, click. Backend should be fine. Frontend, I'll go quickly through this one here. And so add recipe, everything should be fine. I just gonna, I hate this text area. I'm gonna just make it input. And in input here, it was self-closing tag, as you know. That means I don't need that. That should be good. And that's it. That's for edit here. Edit add recipe, edit recipe. It's the same idea. I hate this text area. So what I can do here, I can just replace it with input. And input is self-closing tag. Let's get rid of this one, and that should be fine as well. Header, it should be the same. Logins, all of them are input, so they should be good. Recipe, everything should be fine. That's simply my code or my project. Let's go here. And as you can see, it's much better for like that because, Okay, let's refresh. And now I have everything. Let's try to modify one of these guys as the last test. And let's make it here 2, and here break 2, and this one here 2. Update, and voila, everything is 2. Let's remove it. And in here, let's do that. And it's been removed. Everything is perfect. I need to test the delete. So if I click on this one, voila, it's been deleted permanently. That's cool. The recipe, I've tested it, or everything is fine. Recipe, I have those. And now here, if I log out, as you can see, I don't have the button anymore because I'm not logged. I'm not logged in. I don't have token and email, or I don't have any cookies here, so I cannot delete anything. I just can review. And that's simply my project. Yes, no. Cool.
Sam, and how much time do we have?
Who's asking?
Daria.
We have good time. Don't worry. I'll give you today and tomorrow.
But tomorrow we have Capgemini half day.
What time?
It will start at 9 morning. Yeah, 9:40 something.
Fine. Don't worry. You will have time. Don't worry. I will teach you now how to deploy our project to a host. So what I need to do here, I need just simply to cancel this one. I will go to my backend as well, and I'm gonna cancel this one. Well, so I cancel both of them. Okay, now in order to deploy my project, what should I do? Well, there is an easier way to do it. Very, very easy way, actually. So I just need to go to render here, and in render, when you create your application, of course, when you create this account here, you will be able to connect to your GitHub. So what I need to do here, really, I need to somehow push my code to GitHub, and then I will be able to render it. But before I do that, my front end here, I need to check, is my front end good enough? Did I forget anything? And remember, I have an icon here, which is food. I replaced it because if you go to the website here, see, I have icon food. I replace this one. Fine. And the first step, it will be this way. I need to go to all the recipe, add, or blah, blah, blah. And I need to find this one, HTTP localhost 5004. What is that? Can anyone tell me what is that? What is that HTTP localhost 5004?
Address.
Yes, it is. It is an address, but it's to which machine?
Your home machine.
Indeed. So now here, this one here is for my home machine. So what I need to do here, for my local machine, so what I need to do here, I just need to remove it. Voila. And now just I have /API/recipe. So I will remove everything with HTTP localhost 5004. And I will make sure that I remove all of them in all my code. Edit, the same idea, as you can see. Edit, I have both of them. So let's do that and make sure that I did not forget anything. Here, /API recipe, that's okay. /API recipe ID, which is perfect, that's good. Header, I don't have anything. Login, well, login, I'm not sure if I have it or not. Yes, I have it. So let's replace this one as well. And now we have /API/login. Logout, the same idea. Let's replace it. Navigate, we don't need anything. Recipe, do we need? Yes, of course we need. So let's remove this one. And recipes, also we are sending a request. So let's get rid of this one. Register, of course, we are sending this one. We get rid of this one. Of course, there is an easier way. And normally, the easier way, I can create .in file for the front end. And depending on the environment, I can define it either to be nothing or HTTP localhost. But to make it super simple when you are deploying our project, the first step here, I need to remove everything with HTTP localhost, whatever the port you are defining. So I need to remove that. After I remove that, now I will CD into the front end. And now if I go to the front end and I go to package.json, so we have something called build, vite build. So all I have to do, I can just say npm run build. And if I click on this one, notice it's telling me the build was successful and it create a folder for me. So this folder is called dist. And now all the component here, if I go to dist, everything it will be converted. So if I have any icon here, everything it will be converted. That's my HTML. And if I go to here, I have that's my JavaScript, as you can see. All my component is being bundled or converted to JavaScript. All my CSS is being bundled to this one. Why? Because simply my component or my browser does not understand anything, just understand HTML and CSS. And that's the reason why I need to make this one. After that, I can take my dist and just push it to the backend. When I put it in the backend, in my index, as you can see, I am serving static folder here. So I'm saying app.use express.static pass.join pass test. So I'm serving this file here, and that means I will have all my code there. Now, what I need to do, I need to first, before I move to the front end or the backend, I have get here, and see, I have get here by default when I create a project. I need to remove get. I don't need get, so I can just say remove. I just say rm minus r recursive forces first. I'm just saying I don't want get. Remove get. I don't want to get. And as you can see, I will not have get anymore. But what I want to do now, I want to go inside the backend because my job in the front end is finished. I'll go inside the backend, and voila, now that's my backend. Make sure that you have your desk folder there. Make sure that you have everything. And there's something important also. I need to define something called proxy. So what the hell is proxy? Do I have proxy here? Oh no, the proxy was in the front end. I think I make a mistake. Let's go to both of them. Recipe. If I go to the front end here, I have something called proxy. That's backend now. That's front end. So as you can see, that's a proxy. So what is the proxy? The proxy, it will be like HTTP, your website, HTTP bookstore, whatever.com, something like that. So that's a proxy. Now, currently, I don't know what is my proxy. So what I need to do here, actually, it will not matter. I will need to update it anyway. So it's fine. Now I'm going to deploy my project. When I deploy my project, I will have this, my website, the link to my website here. And then after that, I can come to the front end, update the proxy if I need it, and then also then deploy it again. So that's not going to affect actually. So let me go to the backend for now. And now in the backend, now I need to create a repo here. So I need somehow, get remove. No, I don't know why it doesn't rm. Okay, now that's good. It remove get. As you can see, I don't have anything here. And what you can see, I can just say get in it. And now I have a new get here. So what I need to do now, I need to go to my GitHub. Voila. My repository. Now I can create a new repo. Click. What should I name the repo? I can take me, and here it was recipe, right? It was recipe MERN. Voila. So I can name it recipe MERN, and that's all I need. And now because I already have my code, I can just take this guy, add the remote URL, voila. And everything is good. Now all I need to do is just say get add to add everything, get commit, and here I can just say add recipe MERN. And now here I've added everything. So now what I need to do, I need to add these two commands, and my code, it will be pushed to GitHub simply. So let's add this guy here, both of them. And that should be good. I'm not finished 100%, but for now should be good. So let's go here. And if I refresh this guy, as you can see, this is my backend. And now here, what I need to do, I need simply to go here, recipe MERN. I need to go to my host, render. And here, what I can do here, I can just create your first project. It's really up to me. If I click on render, it should give me a few possibilities. Let's just create a project. Click on that. No, environment name, production, no. Service, I need to create a new service. But how? I think here we have new. Yeah, as you can see, we have new service here. So web service. So all you have to do, just click on these ones and web service. You click on that. And when you click on that, it will go to your GitHub account and you say, what do we want? Okay, of course, I want this one, recipe MERN. That should be good. I will click on it and I will say connect. And when I connect on it, as you can see, it will tell me what's the name of your project, recipe MERN. Am I using Node? Yes, I am using Node, npm. What do I want? I want to say npm install and then node index.js. Everything should be fine here, not a problem at all. And here you can define what area, geographic area you want. That's fine. I want the free version here. Yeah, and then here, that's the most important thing. I need to add my environment variable here. So what different environment variable do I have? Can anyone remind me?
.env?
Yes.
Inside .env?
So we will go to .env, and the first one I have port. So I'm gonna save my port, and now here I will just see the value. What is the value? It is port. And what's the value? I'm adding this one, and all I have to do add environment variable. So that's the port, and it will be hidden. Token secret. I'm gonna copy token secret, and the name is token secret. And the value here, you can add any value you want to, which is fine. Clicky. I need to add another environment variable, and that's the last one, which will be connect URI. And I need the value, which will be this one. So I'm going to copy all of that. And notice this connection, it will be to the cloud. That's the reason why I don't care from where I am connecting. And here, all I have to do now, I can just say deploy web service. And I can wait. So it's very simple, not that complex, actually. And now here, I'm going to wait for this guy. It will try to deploy my project. As you can see, I have logs. If I am lucky, it will be deployed correctly. If I'm not lucky, and actually give me, as you can see, so it give me the URL to my website, which I need to update later on the front end. Then I need to create the build-in again, and then add it to the backend. Whenever I make push now to my backend, it will, this one here, it will be automatically deployed. You don't have to worry about anything. You just deployed it, any push, it will be automatically deployed. Okay, so we need to wait a little bit. Build successfully, deploy. Let's try to deploy it. So what I can do, I can copy this one now. And now I can go to my repo, which will be this one. And in here, I can just add website like that. And here I can just see recipe. Or I can make it uppercase, it doesn't matter. Recipe. Dash. Let's just save these changes here. Click and go here. And yeah, it looks like it's live, so I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, lucky for me, as you can see, it's fine. It's getting my data and register. Everything is fine. Login is fine. And here it looks like it does not care about the proxy, which is good for me. But now what I'm going to do here, because I already have a user, and I will try to log in. And now I want to try to enter my password, which will be user 1234. Clicky, enter. And it will ask me to save. I said, no, I don't want to. Yeah, that's my two stuff here, as you can see. And what I want to do, I want to add more recipe, simply like that. And so here is being deployed. Everything is good. If I go back to my dashboard, see, it will show me how many projects I have. I have recipe, I have bookstore, and everything is being deployed correctly. But what I need to do now, I need to, this is local, I don't want it. I need to find a recipe. Nice. A recipe. Voila, let's see here what different recipe do you have. Easy recipe, and so I'm gonna take this one here, which is, I think this one, I don't know. So I'm gonna copy this image, copy image address. I have no job here anymore. Yeah, that's my job here. So I'm gonna paste the image here, and I don't know what was the name of the recipe, creamy, whatever. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste that here. Ingredient, what different ingredient do I have? Easy, I know, but what are the ingredient? Oh, well, so I have some onion, halloumi, and what I can do here, I can just put some ingredient like that here. Onion, garlic, yeah. I'm not gonna add everything, then you can add everything after that. And here's a step. I'm not gonna do everything actually. I'm gonna just say copy like that. And that should be enough. And let's try to add. And lucky for me, as you can see, I was successful and everything is fine, it's being added. And if I go to my database here, currently I am having 3 because one of them I have this. So if I refresh here, and the new one, which was creamy hello me, it's here as well. And for the user, I still have 1 user. So everything is working perfectly, as you can see. Voila. Of course, if I log out, I will have this one. If I register, login, let's try to test register here. And yeah, gmail.com, it's fine, user 234 exclamation mark. And if I hit enter, as you can see, it was perfect, it's work. And now I can log to it. Of course, you can log to it if you want to. User 1234 exclamation mark, hit enter, and voila. As you can see, why did I log out? Anyway, now I have 2 users, as you can see. And that's simply my project, as you can see. Question.
I have a question.